not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom!
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he.
Heard of this show because not many people have, but I grew up listening to the show on the radio, or one of the things I would listen to.
Listening to the show on the radio? Was this during the Depression?
This was a radio show called The Jim Healy Show. Ever heard of it?
Nope.
Okay. So basically, I think what I recall, so I was a kid, and I always remember, you know what it reminds me of, Chris?
My dad.
And my dad, my brother, and I, when my dad would get us or whatever, we'd be driving around the mean streets of Los Angeles. He would put the Jim Healy Show on. And so what I do recall, I have no idea if it was 30 minutes or an hour, but I think it was 30 minutes. And it basically was a sports show. But what I believe it to be was, for lack of a better term, maybe a really long sports update. And so he would do, and so imagine back in some part of the late 70s, early 80s, where he'd have, and I should probably find it on YouTube. I think there's some clips, but he has like what would sound like the equivalent of like what you think would be like a news wire, like, you know, Dateline Cincinnati. And then Marge shot, you know, whatever, some sort of sports story. And if it's, you know, like here, present day, it'd be like Dateline Santa Clara, news out of San Francisco, or for the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk does in fact have a torn ACL and MCL, you know, something. And then he would hit, amongst his many sounders, different things that all kind of told the story. But as a kid, it was the sounders that I'll never forget. I still remember. I'll randomly say them around my house or at different things at different times. It's stuff that I heard back then. And I thought maybe we could recreate that in some version, maybe for a segment of, you know, some sort of like update / news wire thing. And maybe I'll play it for you and see if you think it could fly. But then it's kind of the height of luxury. And then it's kind of on you to fill in. So from what I heard, he was a one-man show. So he wrote a script. Imagine a 30-minute, you know, thing back then. And then he had, this is going to be for a lot of people out there who don't even know what this is. He had carts.
Oh, my God.
So imagine being one person and you're reading a story going, you know, classic game yesterday at the Great Western Forum. And it was his tone. He would read it differently. He sounded like a newsman, but there was some comedy to it. And then he'd repeat lines, the Great Western Forum, I said. And then, you know, who goofed? I got to know. These are different things that was a Howard Cosell drop. And then, you know, he just had different drops. And then once you hear him over time, then you get accustomed to it just like you have. So just in your hearing that terrible explanation of what I just said, do you think that's a bit we could do or try?
Maybe. I don't know. I have to get a better idea of what it is.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of how you're explaining it was that radio scene in Wayne's World 2.
Yes,
where he's
not even
moving
paying
all the
attention.
carts around.
Right? Yes.
Work
You're
is
not-
hard.
You're not listening to a word I say. Right? Was that in Wayne's World too?
Yes. Handsome Dan.
Oh, he was. Was he? I forget. Harry Shearer.
Yes.
Was he in Airheads?
I can't. It's been such a long time.
Oh wait, now I'm confusing. Was Adam Sandler in Wayne's World too? In that?
No.
He was in Airheads, right?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't there a scene similar to that in that movie?
It might. Well, they take over a radio station,
Okay,
right?
maybe I'm blending things again, but okay, putting those together. But Adam Sandler, yes, okay. So that's our on-air conversation. The Jim Healy Show. I know there's some things on YouTube, and I'm going to ask you this. This is also, as we would say, inside baseball. There was someone here that used to work at the station that was very familiar with that show. And you know this person well. I say work here at this station, but work here in this building, but also for our station. What would be your guess on who that might be? It's kind of has always been a radiophile.
Steve Goss.
Correct. Correct. I knew you'd get there. So he and I would recite certain lines from the Jim Healy Show because he knew about it as well.
I am not seeing Harry Shearer in Airheads.
Okay. Who were the characters? Who were the guys like taking over the radio station?
Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, and Steve Buscemi.
Oh, it was Buscemi?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to. Is that where they met? Because Sandler has Buscemi in a lot of his movies.
Well, what was out first, Airheads or Billy Madison?
I'm going to go with Airheads. What's your guess? I'm going Airheads first. Yeah, because then Adam Sandler became like the main guy, right?
Yeah, Billy Madison came out the next year, so it had to be.
I will say this, whether you like Adam Sandler, I personally like Adam Sandler.
I love Adam Sandler.
I think he's made a lot of movies. They're not all good, but I enjoy most of them.
Like if you make a ton of movies like he has, there's bound to be some that you like. I like his Uncut Gems I've told you about.
Yeah, he's done a lot on Netflix the last couple of years, but I like his movies in general. What I do appreciate about him, man, it would have been nice to be in his circle because he gets the same people are in a lot of his movies.
And like, I want to say a couple of the guys went to college with him and they're all on his comedy albums.
Oh, okay. Oh, he talks about them or they get to do stuff?
They're different characters on his comedy albums.
So, he's made those guys. That's, I think you've talked about like if you won the lottery, how much you'd share with people here. And we've all talked about kind of but I like what he's basically done that. He's won the lottery himself financially because he's he's talented and has made a lot of good movies and some not so good, but he's made money. But he's made a ton of people wealthy, which is really cool. And I'm sure he likes these guys. And it's like, hey, I'm making this movie. This is the part I have for you. Let's have some fun. How great would that be? That's pretty cool. And I think some of those guys go back to high school and grade school for him. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
College.
Is it just college?
NYU, I believe.
Okay. Well, he's got a lot of people though.
And then who's the other?
Is there someone else that does that?
Well, it's they were all part of the same group. The director, Judd Apatow, he was like part of their group.
Yeah.
So that was like funny people. They got back together for that. But it's weird how like he's got like Judd Apatow has his group and Adam Sandler has his group, and they kind of like there's like meshing points.
Some are together, some are not. Who's in, who's out. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Like, hey, what do you do? I wait for Adam Sandler to make a movie and see if I get in it. As
of right now, if you are like big, you kind of do that. Like Quentin Tarantino has his people. Christopher Nolan has his people.
Yeah. And I think probably the actors also appreciate, like, hey, look, I know I want to work. If Quentin Tarantino ever asks me or whoever they are, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to think of Quentin Tarantino. Some of his repeat people.
Well, Samuel L. Jackson's
I feel like he's for everybody.
Big one.
Does he make more movies than anybody?
Samuel L. Jackson?
I know he took over at one point. I'm sure the stats probably still accurate as the highest moneymaker. Like it was Harrison Ford. But Samuel L. Jackson between blockbusters and animated movies and...
Well, he's like in Star Wars and he's in the Marvel movies.
And then some animated movies, like in just like
The Incredibles.
Yeah, so he's hitting all sorts of genres, types, and stuff that's going to last forever. Oh, he's in a bunch of those. Well, I guess that was Marvel. What Unbreakable and no, those aren't. That's M. Night Shyamalan, right?
Yeah,
so he's in a couple of those. But he might even have bit roles. But you're right. In a lot of, he's in at least 3 Quentin Tarantino movies.
He is in
Pulp Fiction,
Jackie Brown.
Oh, 4. Oh, no, that's the one I was thinking of. Jackie Brown and then Django.
And he's the narrator in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh. Still haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that one?
Mm-mm.
That's my favorite one.
Really?
Yes.
Of Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
Django's really good.
Yes. Hateful Eight. He's also in Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. I like Jackie Brown a lot.
Yes, that is such an underrated movie.
Because people would think about Pulp Fiction first, which is classic.
That was one of those I watched really late, and it's one of those things like, oh, I've never seen this. I should check it out. It's just like, oh my God. It's like good. It's just like a fun like story. The music is great in it.
I think I told you this. Jackie Brown was on. Yeah, I think I brought this up on the show maybe 6 months ago. Maybe a little longer. Time goes so fast. Maybe it was a year. And I remember I did not see Pulp Fiction. I did not see Pulp Fiction in the theater, but I've seen it. I don't know how many times, but then I realized on this particular scene, I realized, I haven't seen the whole movie, because there was one scene I'm like, what is this? So I literally had not seen, it was a really small part, and now it kind of made more sense. It's something like when Bruce Willis first comes back to that house and he's in the kitchen, there's something with the toaster. I'm like, what is this? I thought it was like a new add-on, and my wife's like, no, this isn't the movie. I'm like, I don't think
this is a key part of the movie.
I don't think I've literally seen, it was like about a 30-second to a minute part. I go, I don't think I've literally ever seen this. I mean, really small part, but anyway.
I'm sorry, honey. Did you get the blueberry pancakes?
Okay. Well, I'll see if we can work on our Jim Healy bit. Maybe just narrowcasting for me, but I think it's something we could do because of your skill on playing those drops at any time. We are just beginning here on the Tuesday edition. It is NBA opening night. Not so fast for the Kings. We're going to wait 2 days, but we're doing some scouting tonight. The Kings opening night opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, gets started tonight. We will talk about a lot about the NBA today. We have coming up on the show, Frankie Cardicelli.
Way to go, Frankie.
We've got Frankie coming up at 9 o'clock. Normally we'd have Niners at 9, but we got to get some Kings here. We're at a big time of the year now. So Frankie will join us there. I may even talk to him about the Yankees.
Dork.
Oh, dang it. He was ready for that. And then Sean Salisbury scheduled to join us at 8 o'clock as well, along with all of our...
Kick it.
We're going to kick it with Sean, along with all our other fun and hijinks over the next couple of hours. So settle in, hang around, hit that thumbs up button if you're with us here on YouTube. And for the rest of you, we appreciate all of you being here. We've got leading off next.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Oh, this makes me happy before we get to cut number 1. Campeo says he remembers Healy reading headlines. And Robert Huddle, I remember listening to Jim Healy. I think he was strictly LA. Yeah, I think it was a Los Angeles thing. But, I mean, he talked about national stuff, but a lot of LA stuff. A lot of his sound bites were regarded.
Gross.
No. Oh, the LA got it. Okay. A lot of it was regarding that stuff down there that people would know. Asked if I could recreate it. Yes, you can, J. Ross. You are very talented. Look at you, Campeo. Thank you. Well, let's see if I can figure out how to do this. It is time for leading off. Let's get to cut number 1.
Allen 7 from the Bucks 13. Lamar wants to throw. Slings it. Complete. Henry at the 5. The King is in. 5 touchdown passes for Lamar. And with 6:32 left to play in Tampa, the hay's in the barn.
The hay is in the barn?
Think I could do that on a call?
No. We're trying not to be a cow town.
I know. We're so funny though. Sacramento is we play both sides here. We're really good at that. Where it's like, no, we're a small town. Leave us alone. We're just this little small town. And then we're not a small town. We're a big city. Can't be both. Well, I mean, I guess you can. So G-Man, if I say to him, hey G-Man, first night they beat the T-Wolves, blah blah blah. Kings win. Light the beam, and the hay is in the barn. I wonder if people in Baltimore just can't wait for that. And they probably can't, right? If it's their
Or does he come up with a new one each time?
G-Man or Baltimore guy?
Baltimore guy.
No, I've heard the hay's in the barn before.
Oh, okay.
I think it's his thing. So what do you think that means? Is that a ranch thing, a farm thing? Like when the hay's in the barn, like the work is done?
Yeah, the work is done. That's what I assume.
Why is the hay out of the barn?
Well, you have to gather the hay up to put it in the barn.
Hey, but why is it out there? If you already have it in the barn, aren't we good?
No, you get the hay and then you have to put it in the barn.
I know, but let's say I put it in the barn over the weekend, then why do I have to put the hay back in the barn? It's in there. It's who took the hay? Who removed the hay from the barn?
No, the hay is gone. You're feeding the hay to your cattle, and now you need more hay to put in the barn.
Hey. Okay. Ravens win. They were great. They were dominant. How good is Derrick Henry been? Lamar Jackson, my goodness, he's already won a couple MVPs. Looks like the MVP again. Baltimore, they're impressive. Very, very impressive. There was that other Monday night game too. Cardinals beat the Chargers. If the Cardinals play the Chargers and no one's there to see it, did it really happen? All right, let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
All the work, all the sacrifice, handling the enormous weight of massive expectations.
Luka?
Ends tonight here.
Oh, the Celtics.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible.
And then he's in the barn.
Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
Chris, are you for a scripted final call? I mean, that's I'm not saying Breen did. I don't know that Mike Breen does, but he probably knew I want to do something with anything as possible. That's the last title with Garnett. That seemed like he just conjured that up.
I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I think it's best to go with that, actually.
Yeah, I think Jim Nantz is the one that either writes them out, but they're really good generally when he has them. But
like if you're writing it out, it better be good.
It better be good. And my fear is you get off on one, like if you're reading something and you get off one line or one word and you're like, and the barn is, and the hay is in the barn. You're like, darn it. And like, if you just talk, and you might still screw it up, but it came out organically. Boston is your NBA. They are your NBA champs, and they start the quest for the repeat tonight. So we've got game 1 of the NBA season, the Celtics and the Knicks. What a start. Lakers, T-Wolves, the second game, and the NBA is here. We got two more 2 more nights of sleep before the Kings get their first chance to try to light the beam to open up the season on Thursday against Minnesota. So glad the NBA is here, and we got a lot on the NBA today. But Boston opening up the NBA season this evening. And I think if you look at past history, the fact that the NBA has just gone through a stretch where we had Cavs and Warriors for 4 straight years. Now we're having different conference finals, different finalists, different champions, and they're talking about parity. Celtics should be the favorite, but this is going to be a fight of a season. And I think the top of the East is very good. The bottom is weak, but the top is really good. The West has great depth. We've got NBA previews today. Glad it's here. Glad we made it through the preseason, and it starts for real tonight with the NBA game number 1, or day number 1. All right, let's get to cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Chris Conley has an ankle sprain. He'll be day-to-day. George Kittle, foot sprain, day-to-day. Deebo Samuel, he had kind of a odd illness, some fluid in his lungs, so technically pneumonia. And confirming Brandon Ayuk did tear his ACL. So obviously be out for the season.
I mean, being a football coach, those things happen. It's absolutely brutal. Like the end of the game last night, see the injury to Godwin, like everybody knew. And even Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, they're like, yeah, we've been told by the truck we're not going to re-show that play. It looked innocent enough live. He catched it, kind of jumps through a defender there, and then he's down on his knee, and you could tell something's bothering him. But I did not know live. I didn't see. I saw other people like, I could tell, and I didn't see it, and I'm not going back to watch that again. And so things do happen. They can happen. And for Brandon Ayuk and for Kyle Shanahan to have to say that, and by the way, that other note in there about Deebo, he ended up spending the night in the hospital with pneumonia. My goodness. But the Ayuk one, injuries do happen. That's a bad one. He's going to be out, obviously, the rest of the season. That's 2 CL tears, an ACL and MCL. The recovery is going to be long for him. And, he got his contract. I'm happy for him on that. I never root for anybody to not get their money or not get their opportunity. But it was a weird holdout. I don't think that's anything related to this, but it is related, I think, to his kind of out of rhythm, poor-ish play, let's say, to start the year. And he was starting to get a little bit into a groove, though he did have, as we said yesterday, a big drop on a 3rd down in that first half. But all that doesn't mean he should get hurt. I saw some people, that's karma. It's not karma. It's an awful break. You want him to get hurt? I didn't want him to get hurt. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible scenario for him, for the 49ers. The saying is a cliche, but sometimes cliches are true. It is next man up, and that's the way the sport goes. No one that the Niners are playing are going to feel sorry for him. And it also doesn't mean this absolutely crushes the Niners season, though they are starting to get far too many injuries to overcome. They're not there yet, but I think there will be reasons for if this year does not get to where they want to, which we know their goal is a Super Bowl, and right now they are far from it. But if these continue to happen, it just becomes a numbers game where you're going, okay, there's just too many important players that are out. They're not there yet, but if McCaffrey doesn't come back, Ayuk will not come back. They've had some other significant injuries, and if they continue to have them, Hargrave, it's going to be tough for this team to overcome that. But like I said, nobody's feeling sorry for San Francisco. They won't ask you to feel sorry for them. But the reality is this is one banged up football team that the Cowboys don't care about that Sunday night at 5:00, right? So 49ers better be ready for that. There'll be an opportunity for some other receivers. They drafted receivers for depth on purpose. And so now it's got to come to fruition and pay dividends. All right, still to come in this hour, we've got Safer Out. But when we come back, we got another baseball-related story. This came out yesterday, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it because it happened after the show. But we know the A's are coming to Sacramento, 3 years, 4 years, maybe permanently. We don't know that. But one of the sticking points was the A's and River Cats sharing the same stadium. And the thought was, we're going to have to put this on field turf. It's going to be hotter, but the grass will have to respond. This will be able to respond and handle all the wear and tear. Well, that has now changed. The A's are now going to be playing on grass in Sacramento. Does this help? Does this hurt the long-term stature? And what else might change? We'll discuss that story and more right here on Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply. Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. SubcontractorsUnited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Welcome back to another exciting game day. Grab your rally towels, throw on your jerseys, cheer, shout, and save on your gas. That's right. Sports fans win big on home game days. Score instant savings of 25 cents per gallon on Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline with the Fuel Rewards program. And that's a victory for you and your tailgate team. Download the app, join the Fuel Rewards program today, and game on. Restrictions apply. Limited time. At participating Shell stations. For more details, visit fuelrewards.com.
For 76 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 76th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
Call or text at 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Okay, during that break, I spent some time showing playing Chris from YouTube, some really old Jim Healy shows. So on first reaction, Chris, what do you think? Is that something that we could pull off, or is it a stretch? I mean, it was different, but obviously we'd have to make it our own.
I think it's something we could play with.
Yeah, because you already kind of do that now based on what Dave and I are saying. But if it was more of a planned out, week that was, or headlines or something like that, I don't know. But it was different. I mean, back then, too, when you didn't have, and I don't even know where he got all his clips.
Well, you can hear it, too. He's changing the carts around. And
yeah,
stuff like that.
and
it's
it just,
oh, my God.
It does sound old. I mean, obviously, but back then, it's like, you would just wait for certain clips to hit, and you'd repeat them, and it was fun. It was a fun time. Different time back then, for sure. But maybe we'll see if we can try to execute that at some point. So yesterday, some news came out regarding your A's, not Sacramento A's. Just the A's. They're going to be on their way, playing here next year. And, that's going to have its controversy. It already does, right? We've already shared differing views. I know Dave is not a proponent of it at all. I'm excited for it because it seems like it's inevitable. If we could have avoided it, I would say avoid it. I would love to see the A's stay in Oakland, play at the Coliseum. There's too many great fans. I mean, look at the last couple of games, especially the last game, what that was like. I mean, Chris, you were there. You gathered the emotion of what that was. I've talked to several lifelong A's fans that went to that, and they all kind of shared some of the things you did. It was like, it was really cool to be there. It was probably more festive than the alternative. But then a couple of them said, like, oh, man, it got real, like around the 7th inning.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, wait, I'm enjoying this. This is fun. We're all kind of here for the same reason. And then we're also all realizing this is the last time. And that stinks. It shouldn't have been. But is that kind of how you felt being there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I'm trying to even think of like what to compare it to. It's like when you've got it's like Christmas when you're with your entire family and stuff like that. And you're like,
but it's going to end. We're leaving soon.
Yeah. We might not even do this next year.
Right.
Like that type of thing.
I'm having a good time. I've kind of been told this might be the last time we're getting together as a family, or you don't want to make it darker than that, but you know what I mean? It's like, what's going on here? And so that was kind of the feel. And I'm with that. I'm with them staying. Again, we're past that point. So if they're coming to Sacramento, I'm all in on that. I want to see them here. I want to see Major League Baseball here. I want to see them play. I certainly want to see other teams play. I want to see the best baseball players come through this city. I think that's going to be awesome. I'm not a fan of John Fisher. I don't think anybody is. I don't like that he is associated with it, but I don't know any other way, at least the way it's currently constructed, that it would be different. So where it was running into loopholes and snags was the stadium size, the stadium amenities, and also the fact that the River Cats are still going to be there as well. And so one of the solutions was, let's play on sport turf like that. It's not AstroTurf, but it's like a field turf. And a lot of football teams have it. And those generally run about 20 to 30 degrees warmer than regular grass. And I think the decision behind that was not because of the heat, but it was, okay, we could probably play, if the River Cats are playing and the A's are playing, we're going to have a lot of games over a hot summer, but that turf will hold up better than natural grass. Well, I thought all along there were two options, maybe three, but the first two I was thinking of is I think you still got to find a way to have grass. I know there's grass that grows in Sacramento that's maintained, and people keep their lawns if they can. I know you have to water, and you can argue about cost effectiveness and water waste and all that stuff. But look, that's one area that you can do it. And even with a lot of traffic on there, I think it's possible. Or number two, maybe you remove one of the teams, and the fact that the A's are coming, do you push the River Cats somewhere for the time the A's are here? Well, instead, they've agreed to play on grass. And I think that was probably more of a demand from Major League Baseball. They're having other demands as far as what they call the batter's eye, what's going to be behind center field, what people can see better, like reduce the glare over there. They're going to improve the locker rooms and some of the other ancillary things across the stadium. And so it makes you wonder how many other changes are going to happen, how many other things and demands are going to be coming from Major League Baseball Players Association. And the last couple of years, I know people have said it's going to be so weird that they're playing in a minor league stadium. Well, let's not get it twisted. It's been really weird the last 3 to 4 years when everybody knew they were leaving. And, you're not getting the right attendance, and it's not the fans' fault by any means. And for those that do that, I think that's completely unfair. Those fans have been treated so poorly, and it showed when it came to the end in this final season, especially the last handful of games, how many people showed up and wanted to be there to basically say how much they support the A's, the Oakland A's, not Fisher, not any of that other stuff. Maybe the Coliseum, because that's where memories have been made. So now the fact that they're going to be playing on grass here in Sacramento, they've agreed to that. I think that's a good thing. What else will possibly need to change? And then I think we're also on the constant watch of what's going on in Las Vegas. Is this something that's still truly going to happen? What snags are they going to get there? Are they going to have any snags? And that was my thought on this whole thing is I really firmly believe that the A's attendance will do very well here. I do. And maybe that starts out as tickets sold. And by the end of their tenure here, if they do in fact leave, maybe attendance will be light, much like it was in Oakland. I'm not sure of that, but I think the tickets will be sold. Where I think it'll really turn is not just after one season or two seasons. I think it's if it becomes official that they're going to Vegas. Right now, that's the plan. But until everything gets finalized there and timelines and dates are held accountable, anything's possible. And so if, let's say, in 2 years we get confirmation they're putting shovels in the ground, the A's stadium is being built in Vegas, and they're moving on this date, I think that changes things. Kind of like when we knew officially that the A's were going to be leaving. That did so much damage, even more damage than had already been done to the attendance in Oakland. But in the meantime, baseball will be here. Baseball is going to be coming off a high-profile World Series, right, with the Dodgers and the Yankees. And the A's are coming off actually a surprising season. So if they can continue more of those kind of things, the novelty of baseball being here, I think it's going to do quite well. That's my opinion. And baseball isn't as popular as I would say as it was before, but I think of all the sports, it's probably the best one to attend in a sense of social gathering, kind of go and relax, eat some food, get some drinks, hang with friends or family, and watch some baseball. And as long as it maintains a pretty easy in and out there in West Sacramento and a good time had, and as we know, there are fans of just about every sports team across the U.S. in our city. We got a very diverse fan base. There's A's fans, there's Giants fans, and they'll play each other there. But, there's Reds fans here. There's Cubs fans here, Yankee fans. Go on down the list, and those teams will be coming through, and you're going to want to go see your team. And I think that's a great opportunity for our city. So we'll continue to watch that, but one of the first dominoes fell yesterday where they've agreed now to play on grass out there in West Sacramento. All right, when we return, we've got more to get to, more baseball too, because we still got a few more days before the World Series gets here. And we'll talk about that in Safe or Out and the staggering, and I mean staggering, ticket prices. Oh, man. Some people wanted Dodgers Yankees. If you want to go, better get out another mortgage. We'll discuss that next.
You miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost, or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare. With Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow, you can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, made for California, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
All right, let's do it. It is time for Safe or Out. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, the Niners' worst fears are materialized with Brandon Ayuk's injury. And we got a lot of NBA to talk about. The NBA season begins tonight. We'll preview the East. We'll preview the West. All that coming up before we get to Sean Salisbury at 8. But let's do it. Safe or out. We go around the diamond. Chris, question 1.
Safe or out. The resale ticket prices are the worst thing about this World Series.
That's probably safe. I mean, for those of you that don't like either team, maybe that's just it and it doesn't matter.
Correct.
But if you were trying to go, Chris, to these games, did you see what some of the resale tickets were going for? What's your guess?
I did not. So the average price?
Yeah, the average. Let me see if I can find this story again. But yeah, go ahead.
I would say the average price, $600.
$600? Okay. It's not bad. And I don't know if it matters if it's LA or, New York. But let me see where I could find that resale ticket price. Last I had seen, the average, maybe it wasn't the average. Maybe it's some of the resale ticket prices were going for as high as $1,300.
That's stupid.
I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? And at some point, this ticket price bubble has to pop, right? I mean, the Super Bowl is out of hand. Probably any other. I mean, just imagine, I have dreamt this. Imagine and dreaming about the Kings being in an NBA Finals. How many people here have been fans for so long? I got to go. And are they, is everybody just going to be priced out?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they'll get 17,000. They're going to fill it. That's not the problem. But it's like, wait, who's here? These aren't the normal Kings fans.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
No, I don't even want the Kings to win a championship.
I don't know how do we prevent that?
Stop going.
But it's, I mean, we don't have enough people who will do that.
Like, personally, for me, I've stopped. I will never pay more than $100 for a sporting event. And people like the World Cup's coming out, and people are like, does that mean you're not going to the World Cup? No.
Yeah.
If it's over $100, that's ridiculous.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. Do you have the same for a concert?
No, because I just spent over $100.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
But, I mean, that's Oasis, who haven't been broken up for 12 years.
Okay, but, I mean, same argument would be, wait a minute. If the Kings have never made the championship in Sacramento.
If they were selling for, like, Taylor Swift prices and it was like $500 to $600 where I'm sitting now, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then it's going to take teams to like fight back against it. That's what Oasis did. They're like,
yeah, that's true.
We will not, if you resell your tickets, it's going to be for the exact price that you paid for them.
Yeah.
You will not make a profit off of this.
Right.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because they now have this dynamic pricing, like, oh, everyone wants to go this, we got to make it more expensive. And okay, now I'm just getting more upset about Ticketmaster, because when I went to go get tickets for Ticketmaster, they didn't have the prices out. They didn't have the prices out until tickets went on sale. So you really didn't know what you're paying for until the second they went on sale. And then you're in that moment and there's that clock that's counting down like, okay, am I going to spend that much? Am I not? Can I look for something closer? Oh, they're going away now. I got to get something quick.
I'm looking. So I found it. Resale tickets, Chris, for the World Series opener at Dodger Stadium against the New York Yankees started at $13.58 on Monday evening on StubHub.
See, that's stupid. That is dumb. And I get why teams do it because, this obviously proves that there's a market for this. But if you just take that away, you can actually get people. You can get like a middle-class family at a World Series game. That sounds impossible now. I'm not going to spend $1,500 for my 8-year-old kid to go to the World Series.
Yeah, Vivid Seats, another resale outlet, said its average price of tickets sold for this year's series was $13.68, about double of $6.85 last year for the Rangers Diamondbacks.
They literally need to make laws against this if you want this to go away.
And they can, right?
Yeah.
Vivid said the average prices for tickets sold for Game 1 was $13.02, $13.92 for Game 2, $14.43 for Game 3 in New York, and $13.89 for Game 4. It did not disclose how many tickets were sold, but imagine if it goes 7.
It's just gross too, because Vivid, StubHub, SeatGeek,
yeah,
they're just being paid to be the middleman.
Right. And what's really weird is you do know sometimes you'll go on those sites and you go, okay, whatever, let's pick that benchmark, 1,300, and then someone's like 200, and like people get mad at the person selling it for 200. Why? They bought the tickets, they can't go, they want to sell them, they just want to get their money back. I mean, not everybody's greedy, but a lot of people are. Yeah, I would say that's safe. That is the worst part about this upcoming World Series. All right, question 2.
Safer out. Mike Trout is regretting not leaving the Angels like his former teammate Shohei Ohtani did.
I mean, I don't know Mike Trout, but I feel like that's got to be safe. The Angels have been so bad. Shohei leaves, and he's out of this world talent, but so is Trout, and he had been, and he probably missed that window. And here's Ohtani not only having an even better season than he's had before, getting more attention, but more importantly, winning. And he's going to be on the biggest stage and showcasing his just supreme talent. And the Dodgers, if they don't win it this year, will have a chance for it likely next year and probably the year after that. Or maybe they win multiple World Series with him. I got to believe Mike Trout is regretting that. I like loyalty. I appreciate all of that. But what are the Angels doing for him besides paying him?
I don't think he's regretting it.
You don't think so?
Because there hasn't been that like, Trout's looking to get traded.
No.
Trout said that he would say yes to a team. Like, that stuff always seems to come out. Like, A-Rod signed that huge contract with the Rangers, and a couple years in, he's just like, we're not making the playoffs. I want out.
Right.
I'll go to the Red Sox. I'll go to the Yankees.
Yeah, what was that? Wasn't he about to go to the Red Sox, and then the Yankees got him? Yeah. That's weird.
And they're going to trade Nomar. Get out of here.
Nomar!
Then they ended up trading him anyways.
Chris is having a time here. With
I
Safer
am.
Out.
You're making me very upset, and I don't even like baseball.
You love baseball. I'm taking you to the World Series. I got these tickets. They're only $1,300. Want to go? Oh my gosh! All right, question number 3.
Safer Out. Waiting until Friday is losing the playoff momentum.
It might be for the players. Baseball is such a rhythm sport. I mean, you play basically every day. Maybe you get one day off. There's the All-Star break, but besides that,
those teams with losing records that have buys in baseball.
Yes. But you can get your lineups and your pitching staff in order. And the other part is you could also argue it's adding to the hype. It's building up hype. And I think, if they had played tonight or tomorrow, sure, you get started earlier. But I think come Friday, it's also weird where baseball is choosing to start the World Series on a Friday night. Friday night is generally the slowest night of the week for sports. Like, what do they tell you in, burying the lead or, news dump, put that stuff on a Friday and, okay, we get some bad news. Let's put it out Friday afternoon around 4. Maybe not a lot of people report on it. Talk shows may not get to it. And by the time you get to Monday, yeah, that's right. That happened back on Friday. It doesn't have the same luster and fervor behind it. But in this case, you've got a World Series that is highly anticipated. 2 powerhouse organizations. The Dodgers won the series in 2020. And if you're like Chris and you don't count it, you put an asterisk behind it. Then it's been since 1988. And the Yankees haven't won or been since 2009. So it's been a while for both of these franchises, though they're the most common World Series we've seen. But at this point, I think it's just adding to the hype. So I'm going to say out, that it's spoiling the momentum, with the exception of maybe some of the players in the rhythm. But now it's a new series, new matchups. I think when you look at the matchups, I would say starting pitching goes to the Yankees. Bullpen goes to the Dodgers. Depth of the lineup is really close, but I think more people would pick the Dodgers. And then kind of some of this stuff becomes intangibles, like defense. A lot of times these things happen with just a blunder or base running error, which the Yankees were awful in that department in some cases during the Guardians. But if you can get the situation where you're playing if both teams at their best, were both of the best teams this year. At the beginning of the year, the Yankees were unstoppable. The Dodgers had an incredible stretch of baseball during the year. And the other thing that's scary about the Dodgers is how injured they are in the starting pitching staff. I mean, if they had, I know people would laugh at this, but if they had Kershaw, who's had some tough postseason games, but also has been better in games than people realize, Tyler Glasnow, Dustin May, these pitchers that were supposed to be part of their starting staff, Walker Buehler still kind of coming back. Who else am I missing? Gavin Stone. So they've got a lot of starters that are out, and they're still here. So the Dodgers are going to be a threat for a while. The other part about this time off, not only does it build up some hype, maybe it loses some individual momentum, but it gives time for Freddie Freeman to heal that ankle a little bit more too. So I think it's good, by and large, to have the time off and to get everybody ramped up and ready for what should be a fabulous, fabulous World Series. All right, 7 o'clock hour coming up. When we come back in that 7 o'clock hour, we've got opening night of the NBA. Let's preview the East and the West. We'll do that a little bit later in the 7 o'clock hour. We've got 3 for Madness. But when we return, it's official. A tear of the ACL and the MCL for Brandon Ayuk. Just a devastating injury for the 49ers. We will talk about that, the ramifications of that, and what this could do for the 49ers. We'll do that when we come back on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I put on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Have you heard you can listen to your favorite news podcast ad-free? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. Enjoy shows like The Daily, Up First, and Consider This, available ad-free on Amazon Music. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free. That's amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interests in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a realtor.
It's 4th and goal. The pressure's on. The home team needs this to win it. No matter what you're up against, it's always a win at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Special finance options and trade-in offers make it easier than ever to upgrade your ride. Because at Stockton Honda, we believe everyone deserves a winning deal.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts in West Sacramento and Town Center Plaza next to Nugget Markets now through October 29th for the Customer Appreciation Day sale. You'll get 2 times O Rewards points on select purchases. Plus, pick up 5 quarts of any Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 gift card after rebate. And buy 1, get 1 free Coca-Cola products at your Town Center Plaza, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. with offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County. Reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Don't miss Stoney's Rockin' Radio's Halloween bashes this weekend. That's right, Stoney has Halloween costume contests each night, including Sexiest, Scariest, and Best, and a superhero/villain contest this Sunday night. Winners get a dash for cash on the dance floor, free late night food, country dancing, and Halloween fun all weekend long. I'll see you on the dance floor.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, welcome into hour number 2 of the show. Carmichael Dave is off with us. He'll be back on Thursday.
You sound like you're from London.
He's back in London. And then back in New York. He's all over the place. He's traveling every which way. And it looks like he's in our chat right now, so you can chat with Dave that way as well. But I know he's got stuff going on over the next couple of days before he's back with us on opening day for the Sacramento Kings. We got a couple more sleeps till we get there. But the NBA does open up tonight. We're going to talk about that later this hour. Also, Frankie Cardicelli, our Sacktown Sports Kings insider.
Way to go, Frankie.
Yeah, way to go, Frankie. He's going to join us a little bit later in the show, as well as Sean Salisbury. Chris, I was looking outside our little sliver of a window here. It's still dark. 7 a.m. When's the time change?
Is it this weekend? I think it's this weekend.
It's usually around Halloween, right? Or it's usually after Halloween?
No, it's like right before now. It used to be after. Now
Really?
It's before.
Let's look it up. Let's see if I can find out. When is the time change? Oh, there it is. Daylight. It's November 2nd into November 3rd. Okay.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
There is a first time for everything. I don't like it. I actually don't like when we switch to fall back, because then it's gonna be dark at like 5:15.
Yeah, but it'll be late now.
It'll be lighter now. That's fine. We're already here. We've got lights on. We're in the studio. Those of you that are just waking up out there, thank you. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Over our many different outlets, you can find us on the stream, on the app, over the radio. Those still exist. They happen. They're in your cars. Does anybody still have a radio in their house that they utilize? Maybe their garage. I feel like people listen to their radio in their garage.
I don't have a garage.
You don't have a garage?
Nope.
You have a carport?
Yep.
A porte-cochere?
Yes.
Is that what you have?
Uh-huh.
How many cars can fit? 1 or 2?
1.
Okay. Where does the other car go? In the street or behind the other car?
Behind the other car.
Okay.
Or the street.
The street. Good street parking? Ample?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. That's tough if you live in a... I always thought about that on some of those neighborhoods. Like when I'm sure a lot of you out there may have done the... what street is it in East Sac? Like 42nd through whatever, where they do all those great Christmas lights and stuff, and people drive down there, and just like people make trips down there. And I think, man, street parking can be a problem here if you live there and people are trying to get to different spots. Like, man, who's parking in front of my house? But I think that's what you get accustomed to in situations like that. All right, so let's get to the 49ers. The news became official as Brandon Ayuk does have tears of the ACL and MCL. And when Kyle Shanahan was talking about injuries, he kind of went through them. But let's go back first to Shanahan from the other day about how poor the performance was for the 49ers against the Chiefs.
I want them to say less today.
There's no way to sugarcoat that. We got our ass kicked today. Lots of reasons for it. Those are things that they don't need to sit and think about today. We'll address all those tomorrow.
Yeah, and one of those things that they're addressing and they addressed, which was tomorrow, which was yesterday, was the injuries. And Kyle talked about them because there are far too many again, like we said earlier in the show. And here's what Kyle Shanahan had to say about all those people that are banged up.
All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Chris Conley has an ankle sprain. He'll be day-to-day. George Kittle, foot sprain, day-to-day. Deebo Samuel, he had kind of a odd illness, some fluid in his lungs, so technically pneumonia. And confirming Brandon Ayuk did tear his ACL. So obviously be out for the season.
That's the one. That's the gut punch because
also that's a wild statement of technically pneumonia.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, our other receiver was in the hospital and it's got some fluid in his lungs, but I don't know, technically pneumonia. I mean, the Niners are going through it, and I feel personally for Brandon Ayuk. I know that a lot of people were frustrated with this holdout. It was a little bit quirky, a little bit weird. I don't think we should be in his pockets at all. Look, get the money you can. This is this is the exact example, right, about guaranteed money in the NFL. Because I hope Brandon Ayuk comes back, and I think he will. Recovery and medicine and training and rehab is all phenomenal. There's every reason to believe he'll come back. But one, it's a long recovery process. He will be out for the rest of the year and maybe into some camps and maybe even into the beginning of next year. Who knows how long they hold him out for. But that's the risk that you have in football. There's still a possibility that he doesn't come back or doesn't come back as the same player. And so that's where, your window of a financial windfall in football is small and is where guaranteed money is the real money. That's the one that matters the most, and that's what matters for players. And, the Niners are going to miss a guy that's not having the best year this year, but has been a real serious weapon for them. I always thought he and Purdy were on the same page a lot, and it gave us some moments like this.
Out of the shotgun, drops a couple of steps, going to take a deep shot to Brandon Ayuk. It's deflected. Oh, he caught it! Caught! Ayuk caught it out of the air. A flag is also down. Did Ayuk score? He got touchdown on the 2-yard line.
Was back in the NFC Championship game, that great helmet catch that he was popped in the air and he still caught. So the reality is that he is out and he's going to miss the rest of the year. So in one sense, the only good thing about it, I don't even know if good is the fair way to state it, is he's out. You don't have to think, hey, maybe we'll get him by the end of the year. Maybe we'll get him, in week 15 or maybe for a playoff run if we can get hot. Nope, he's not. He's not even going to be on top of mind. It's the loneliest feeling for Ayuk because he's going to be isolated quite a bit away from the team in a sense of like the regular teamwork. Now, you'll probably see him on the sidelines for some of these home games, but he's going to begin after surgery, the rehab, and the bounce back. And it's a long, lonely climb. He's not the only one to have ever done it, and won't be the last. But that's the reality. That's what happens there. So now, what is next? Well, it's an opportunity. As I said earlier, next man up is the easy phrase to say, but it becomes an opportunity for other players. It's still, for those of you, and I know a lot of you out there, will call Brock Purdy a system quarterback. Well, if we walk down that line, which I personally don't believe he is, but whatever. I mean, I guess we're getting into semantics. I'll even say that he is, because I think the 49ers have a terrific system. They have a very good play caller, and they've got talent to help support all that. And so taking away one piece will do some damage. But if you've got a terrific system and a system quarterback, and that means you got good pieces around you, and Ayuk is one of the better pieces of the system. But now what do the other guys become? What does Jacob Cowing become? What does now an opportunity in Ricky Pearsall become? I remember when the 49ers drafted him, a few eyebrows were raised going, do they really need another receiver? Like, what are they doing here? Oh, maybe this is a sign that they won't keep Brandon Ayuk. That was some of the thought. Well, no, they kept Ayuk. Unfortunately, he's now done for the year. I'm assuming Deebo will be back here soon, if not this week. And Jennings will make his way back to. He's not a season-ending injury, but Jennings goes up a notch. Pearsall goes up a notch. Cowan goes up a notch. They're going to need more from Kittle, and certainly from Christian McCaffrey when he comes back. So they've got enough. They've got enough to overcome this. They do. It stinks for Ayuk himself, for the Niners overall, but this is when opportunity happens for other professional athletes who are hungry, who want to prove themselves, and sometimes they just need an opportunity. And we saw what an opportunity with more looks could do for Jennings in Los Angeles. His career day, well over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more of a breakthrough for Ricky Pearsall, which is still an underreported phenomenal story. People know he got shot. People know he was very fortunate to survive, but he's playing professional football 50 days later. That is absolutely stunning. And by all accounts, it sounded like he could have played sooner. That was more of a team like, hey, let's put him on the IR. It guarantee he'll miss 4 games, and then we'll start the climb back. So for a team that is not playing very well collectively, has some injuries, they've really got to be sharp the last part of the season. And, this week, it's a critical game for Dallas. It's a critical game for the 49ers, and then the bye week, and then they got to begin that push. I mean, they really do. They've done it before where they get hot in the back end of the season. You could see some ways that can happen again, but it hasn't happened yet. And just because it's happened before doesn't mean it will go the same way. But you believe that they're capable. I believe they're capable. I don't watch this team and go, they are, this is who I feel like they're underperforming. I think that's fair to say. We know they gave away 2 games. So I'll give them losses again to the Vikings and to the Chiefs. If they just were there, it's probably about where you think they would be. I don't know that people predicted they would lose to the Vikings before the season, but the Vikings have shown they're a very good team. That's a tough place to play, and they've been a good matchup against the 49ers. The Chiefs, we know they've been their kryptonite. They should not have given up the game to the Rams and to the Cardinals. And if they could have just switched those outcomes, which they can't, I think they'd be just fine. Now, they're behind everyone else. Not everyone else, but they're behind teams in the NFC. They're now behind Seattle again, and they got some catching up to do. All right, we've got some catching up to do, too, as far as break time for us. When we come back, just a short break, we've got 3 for Madness, 3 questions, 3 answers, including something related to the Celtics and the Knicks for the NBA season opener tonight. We've got that and more next.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey there, Jason Ross, and let me tell you about SackLegalDefense.com, 916-304-9187. Again, that's 916-304-9187. Now, why might you need that phone number? Well, just store it away. Just know the website, know who Jonathan Gonzalez is. That's the law offices and his team there. And they're right in downtown Sacramento. And he's someone you can call if you're in a pinch, if you're in a bind, if you feel like you need representation. Now, if you're in that spot, it's something you want to be prepared for. You want to know who to call, and you want to know who you can trust. And that's why I'm telling you that Jonathan Gonzalez, when needed, remained undefeated in jury trials from 2016 through 2019. Now, if we're talking criminal defense, sexual harassment, expungement, something on your record that you like removed, these are all things that he can help with. That's why this number is important, 916-304-9187. Wrongful termination cases, all these things happen, auto accidents, and you think, I might need some help. I might need some representation. SackLegalDefense.com. The law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez right here, downtown Sacramento. He's, you can get to his office. You can call him on the phone. You can check out his website. He's here. He's one of us, and he wants to help in our community. So, again, SackLegalDefense.com. The number is 916-304-9187.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, 3 for Madness time. Question number 1, Christopher Verlod.
The New York Knicks should come out on the floor tonight and watch the Celtics ring ceremony.
I don't think they have to. Where would you be on that, Chris? So if you're a player on the Knicks and you're like, hey, Tibbs says, guys, we're going out to watch this, not to honor the Celtics because we're going to do this year. This is going to be us this time next year. I don't think you have to watch it.
No, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not proud of Boston for that. That's something that the Knicks wanted last year. I'm sure they want this year. I don't have to do that. I always think it's interesting when they show the shots of a team that just won, and baseball does this a lot, where they'll show like the Dodgers just won, Yankees just won, and then they'll also eventually pan over to the other dugout, and there's guys on the rail that are just kind of watching. It's like, yeah, and then other guys just like, yeah, I'm done. Grab the bats, grab the hats, and go right into the clubhouse and get out of there. I mean, it's kind of to each their own, but I don't know why if you're the opposing team in Boston for that party, the one thing I want to do is beat them, ruin the ring ceremony, but not, I don't need to go out there and watch it.
One of the things that's tradition in soccer in general is if you win the league with games to spare, the other team will kind of go out before you and they'll like give you like a round of applause.
Oh, really?
As you walk in.
Wait, this is before the next match or
like after? So they've already like clinched the trophy. Let's say there's 2 games left.
Okay. So at the end of a game.
No, this is the beginning of the next game.
Okay, got it.
They all come and they kind of clap as they come out. Liverpool did that one year, and Bernardo Silva was out there with his coffee jacket, just looking at them, just like, screw you guys.
He wanted to fight.
I'm out here, but I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, is it like a mocking clap? Is like
no, it's more about like
good work, good job.
It's kind of like I'm trying to think of like what to compare it to. It's not like a full on like, hey, good for you guys, but it's also not a F you, why are we out here type of thing.
Yeah, respect.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that seems rare. Like if I was certainly on the Knicks, I'm not out there clapping. The only way I could think of it is if you're on the Knicks and you've got, well, they don't have a former teammate that's on Boston. Well, they wouldn't have had the ring. Yeah. So what am I thinking of? Maybe if it's a great friend. I don't know. I don't think you need to be out there. I wouldn't put my guys through that. But I also don't know what you do.
Actually, I would put that up to like hey, what do you guys want to do?
Oh, to one of the captains
like,
or the leaders?
Do you guys want to go out? Maybe some of those guys want to get out there.
Yeah. Because if not, I mean, there's a rhythm to all of this stuff, and I don't know how long the ceremony would be, but normally they'd either be out there warming up or in the locker room about to run out, and I don't know. It'll probably honestly be on in their locker room, though.
Here's the thing I don't like. I think everything should be done with when you win the championship.
So when's the right time to do this, the rings?
Like the rings, it's so weird now because they have to make, because now like rings are like, oh, this is there are 46 diamonds to represent the 46 blah blah blah, and these emeralds represent, it's like,
and this blue line is to signify the river,
and then you can open it up and you can see where the shot was made,
and there's a QR code that then takes you to another. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, just like
I don't know how you do. I mean, I guess you don't have to be a ceremony. You could just give the guys their rings, but
like because how often there's never been a situation where all the players come back. That's like one thing. If all the players are there and they could all like celebrate together, like a lot of the times it's like, oh, and then he's getting his ring when they play this time. He's getting his ring when they play this time. It should be like I know I'm the soccer guy, but they do it right. You get your medal and you celebrate, and then that's it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think it's a lot of the same guys. The one notable one is Horford, right? But yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that. But tonight, these guys will clearly enjoy that, and they should, But I don't know what the Knicks will do. Yeah, if I'm the Knicks, I just stay in the locker room, get ready for the game, and then just try to go spoil the evening. All right, let's go to question number 2.
Question 2.
Kings fans, will you be watching tonight's Lakers T-Wolves game and scouting Minnesota, rooting against the Lakers, or both?
Both. Right? I don't think Kings fans in general root for the Lakers at all. And at that point, they will be looking at what Minnesota will be for game number 1. For the Kings, it's game number 1 tonight for the T-Wolves. Yeah, to me, I'm always kind of looking at everybody. You watch the West, and it's so funny in such a long season. Like, someone might lose 3 or 4 in a row. I'm like, oh, they're in trouble. They've lost 4 in a row. And then you kind of forget about them. And then, like, oh, shoot, they've won 9 of their last 10, and they're right back way past where they were. Yeah, I'm watching this in both ways. You kind of root against the Lakers as a Kings fan, just in general. You'll look at what the T-Wolves can be and what kind of problems they can present for the Kings coming up on Thursday. So, yeah, I think both. I always love, it's also allegedly, in some way, shape, or form, the final year of TNT. So, want to see what that will look like. But, yeah, I'm watching both games. Basketball is back. It's great. I'm glad there's no other things to interfere with it really tonight. So I'll be locked in for both, doing some scouting and rooting against for sure.
You forgot an option.
What's that?
Making fun of Bronny.
Why are you making fun of Bronny?
He shouldn't be in the NBA.
Oh, but you're going to make fun of him?
Yeah.
How is
we
it
make
his
fun
fault?
of Giannis's brother?
I just leave him alone. I don't even make fun of him.
Oh, man. Well, and this falls purely on LeBron too, because LeBron was the one to push him to go on the team. LeBron was the one that tweeted out that his kid could beat all of these players in the NBA right now.
I know what was funny is I always thought, look, some of these other teams, they don't have to let Bronny go to the Lakers. Some of the team can just draft right before him. But I think that shows you, it's nobody was that interested.
It's not even worth that.
Yeah, it's if he's a free agent, maybe we'll bring him into camp. But are you going to make fun of him?
He's bad in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be there.
But you also agreed that it's really cool that he's playing with his dad. Or no?
He shouldn't know. What if Michael Jordan's kid, who was okay in college, got to the NBA and they played together? Everyone would be like, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah. All right. I have a different viewpoint on that. I think it's really cool. But, yeah, I'm not saying, hey, start the guy. If he doesn't play – but they're going to do something where they play on the court in a regular season game together for sure, right? That's going to happen at a minimum.
I just want to see the first time he messes up during the game, and he gives him the full J.R. Smith treatment.
That would actually be worth it.
That would be worth it.
All right, question number 3.
Question 3.
Do you have an issue with Todd Bowles leaving Chris Godwin in the game late, which resulted in the brutal injury late in the game?
This is more of a results thing. I know I felt like they were questioning that in the broadcast last night, and it sucks. I mean, the reality is you can get hurt at any time. That's the caveat. We know that. But if you look at what was going on there, it's a stretch. It was a stretch, but it was a 2-possession game. They were down 10, less than a minute. They had just done one successful onside kick. So, if they scored again fast, kicked onside, I don't think you give up on games. Now, the outcome is what looks so bad because that's just an awful injury. I mean, an absolutely awful injury. Like we said earlier, they refused to show it again on TV. And so once that happened, you knew it was bad. He's in the air cast. You got to figure that's some sort of, dislocation, compound fracture, whatever it is. It's not good. And he knew it, and he was getting carted off the field. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. And then they don't go down and score. The game ends. You lose by 10. So, yeah, could he have been out of the game? Absolutely. He would have avoided that. But I think that's a really tough spot for a coach to be in. And not to say, what if it was a quote-unquote backup receiver or a third-string receiver? Still would stink. It's not to the same level of the impact of what Godwin has meant to the team. But I feel for the coach in that. That's a tough spot to be in. And the easy answer is take all your guys out. Okay. You could have. You're not wrong for it. You're not wrong if you do it. Now, where you're wrong is, or people feel like you're wrong, is if you did what they did and the injury happens. But what if that was the game where the freak thing happened and catch, touchdown, onside kick, get the ball back, and you throw a Hail Mary and you win? That all seems like a stretch, but those things can happen. And so the coach is trying to win a game. He's got his good players out there, guys that have played the entirety of the game, and none of that stuff had happened. It just, circumstances make that look a lot worse. So I felt for him in that. It was really, really unfortunate. All right, that's 3 for Madness for you. When we come back, the NBA season begins tonight. The champs open up the season at home versus the Knicks. We just talked about getting their rings and all that kind of stuff too. What can we expect from the Eastern Conference? We'll talk about that as we preview the East next.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm meteorologist Kelly Curran in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're starting out the morning with a few clouds and morning lows in the low 50s. Then in the afternoon, mostly sunny with highs in the upper 70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA app.
Your water heater. Old, rusty, forgotten. We hardly ever even think about them until there's no hot water. Right now, get incredible rebates up to $3,000 off and financing available for as little as $40 a month. Leave it to Bonnie to crank up the heat.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? You don't say. Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
There's no need to be scared of auto maintenance this October. Your local Jiffy Lube has just the treats you need without the tricks, like fast oil changes or wiper blades for the upcoming rainy season. Serving greater Sacramento area customers since 1984 with over 30 convenient locations to choose from. Open daily, early at 7:30 and open past 6 p.m. at most locations. Just visit jiffylube.com to find a location near you and valuable coupons to save money too.
The first big sale of the year on the all-new 2025 Silverado is on at Maida Chevy. With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates, every new 2025 half-ton LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock at Maida Chevy. And Maida Chevy has the largest selection of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area. $8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing leases. Some of the offers ends 10/31/24. Source internet search ends 17/24.
Hooking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sacktown Sports.
So the NBA tips off tonight with the first game being the Boston Celtics hosting the Knicks. Should be a good matchup tonight. Looking forward to that. 4:30 tip-off here, then followed by Minnesota.
Bing bong.
Minnesota and the Lakers. We'll talk about the West coming up. Also, Frankie Cardicelli.
Do you know how old that sound is?
Choice at night. Bing bong?
Yeah.
I don't.
3 years.
Is it?
That's when that video came out.
Really?
Yes.
I knew it was. I wouldn't have said that far back.
Because remember, we had Cuomo.
Yeah. Bing bong. Was it last year too? Yeah, last year. Remember when the Knicks got off to that beginning? Like just some of the footage that you'd see after games where Knicks fans are just
the best,
going absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. That's a special breed of fan, I tell you. And they got a lot of high hopes with the Knicks this year.
Like if someone took a video like that outside of Golden One, I think that would start to become like a huge. Well, it sort of already is with like the beam lighting and stuff like that. It's like you don't even get to really witness that, do you?
No, outside?
Yeah,
no.
It's like a party.
Oh yeah,
outdoors.
tell me about it. What is that like outside? Because I see inside is fun. There's great atmosphere. People can't wait. It goes up. I do like when they show on the big screen the beam outside, and then you see a few people. But there's not. I don't have a vibe of what it's like.
It's like it is a party. Once you go, people are taking pictures in front of the beam and everything like that, and then people are still a little lubed up from the game, so they're high-fiving everybody and getting wild.
So you've been a part of both. Is it better inside or outside?
Like I've never been outside when it's been lit.
Oh, when it's been, but it's when you go out there later you see people.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wonder, and you guys can text in or YouTube, like, do people go down just to see the beam when they win?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like I'm inside, they won, cool. I'm going to look at it when I leave. Like when I drive out, I'm like, oh, there it is. There's the beam. But do people in the general area like, oh, they won, let's go down there and be a part of, like when people are leaving, it's fun to be a part of something like that. Like the day we did that pre-show for the Kings Warriors playoff game, it's like, okay, not everybody that's out here is going to this game, but that was really cool. They can't all fit in there. But
Yeah,
that was
I remember like
atmosphere.
the bars around there was like hours waits to get inside.
And remember how worried we were, like, oh man, I hope there's like less than 20% Warrior fans. And it was like, there's one jersey, there's another one over there. I see like two.
Yeah.
And in the arena, you're like, you could just literally, it wasn't like, oh, that section, that row. It's like 1, 2, you could see like about 10. I mean, there was probably more, but it wasn't that many. It was like 99% Kings fans. That was so great. So great. So the Kings open Thursday, but tonight the first game of the NBA season has the defending champion Boston Celtics taking on the New York Knicks, the two teams that finished first and second, at least in the standings in the East last year. Probably a lot of projections have that same kind of thought this year. And what Boston was able to do last year was run away from the East. They just ran away from the league. They were the only team north of 60. I think they had 63 or 64 wins. And they just had a comfortable cushion. They were the best team. It really wasn't a mystery. What was the mystery is, would that be enough come postseason time? And it was. And Boston is loaded again. They're running it back, same squad. And look, Boston's going to be very, very good. And if you look at the Eastern Conference, the East is interesting to me because over time, everybody's always said, man, the West. I think the top of the East, you can make an argument, is better than the top of the West. And I'm not just saying Boston. I think this year, the East is going to be an absolute dogfight up there with some really, really good teams. I mean, I think New York has a great roster. Boston obviously has a great roster. I think Philadelphia is really proud of what they now have with Paul George and Maxey and Embiid and everything else they've got going. You still have to contend with Indiana, who was a surprise team from a year ago. Milwaukee, a full year again of Dame and Giannis and their championship DNA. I still think there's underappreciated teams like the Cavs and the Magic. And then you've got like the Miami Heat. What do you do with the Heat? That's a team like you ever go, oh, they're going to fall apart. Like, are they? I have too much respect for Spoelstra, for Butler, for Pat Riley, for Bam Adebayo. Those guys always play hard. They're always intense. They don't give games away. And so when you say that, I've said what? Boston, New York, Cleveland, Indiana, Philadelphia. That's 5. Miami, Orlando. I mean, I think I might have missed someone. Let me look at this again. Here we go. Pull up. Boston. Yeah, Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Orlando, Indiana, Philly, Miami. They're already at 8. And I don't know that all 8 are title contenders or people that can get out of the East. I feel like if everything went right, Philly could. I feel like Milwaukee still could. Certainly Boston can, and probably the Knicks. I don't quite know if Cleveland, Indiana, Orlando, or if I would pick Miami to do it. It's tough to pick against Miami, but I feel like they're all going to be just a pain and could be like a 1 seed or a 2 seed, any of those 4 teams. And then you kind of get to the rest, and that's where I feel like there's just a cliff in the East. I think those top 8 are all, either well-coached or just high-level talent and have shown they can be good and have been good. Or if you get to the rest, they're all kind of in a weird spot. Like Atlanta's in a really weird spot. They're not terrible. They're not great. But a couple years ago, they made a run, right? You still have Trae Young. You got Bogey. You got some things that they're going to try to build upon. But I can also see that team being broken up for parts a little bit later. You've got teams that I think also could be in that realm, like Chicago, I think is going to drop again, but they've got some individual pieces that people may be looking at. And then the rest. Brooklyn, Toronto. Toronto's got a decent starting 5, but after that, Charlotte. Charlotte's trying to be on the bounce up. They've got now the longest playoff drought in the NBA. Not quite to the Kings level of 16 years, but they're going. I think Detroit will be better. And I think Washington has an awful roster. I think they're going to be bad. And they're probably okay with it. They won 15 games last year. And that's what the East had. You had the top at 64, the bottom at 14 wins for Detroit. And one of those was against the Kings. So I think there's some rough teams in the Eastern Conference, but that top 8, man, I think that's going to be a fun battle in what the Eastern Conference can have. And also, let's remember a couple of really good players, people that have been kind of regular all-stars in the West, have moved to the East, whether that's Damian Lillard a year ago, this offseason, Karl Anthony Towns, Paul George. So you've had a shift of some of those guys go from West to East, and you already have the champion there. You've got a team that a lot of people believe in the Knicks. It's going to be fun. I think the Eastern Conference, for those years where the Cavs just got through every year, was more of just a slugfest. This is some high-level play, especially at the top level of the Eastern Conference. So I think that's going to be a fun division to watch, or fun conference, excuse me. And then Boston's got the target on their back. Can they do what they did a year ago, where clearly showed that they were the best team in the regular season? They were a top offense, one of the top defenses. They have versatile players. And, when we talk about the Kings playing small, Boston, has done that and did that with Horford or Porzingis as their biggest guys, but then just kind of flooded the floor with skilled wings and two-way players in White and Holiday, Jaylen Brown and Tatum. And they've got a really nice mix. And then I would look at their bench and go, I don't think they've got enough. But they do have enough when you sprinkle in Pritchard with a couple of starters, when you sprinkle in Hauser with a couple of starters. And it just kind of works. And now they've got the experience. Now they've got the know that they can do it. That's what they were chasing last year. And it'll be interesting to see how they play being chased. It's a little bit of a different spot for them. All right, when we come back, let's talk about the West. Where do the Kings fit in? How will the West look overall as it gets started tonight with the Lakers and the Timberwolves? We'll preview the Western Conference next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Kyle Draper. Equip your staff with top-notch uniforms, professionally cleaned and delivered weekly to your workplace by Alsco Uniforms, proud sponsors of the Sacramento Kings Mob Crew. Our services include uniforms, towels, floor mats, mops, first aid supplies, and restroom essentials to uphold cleanliness and safety standards in your business. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Visit alsco.com to learn more. Again, visit alsco.com.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? Sunpoint Public Adjusters can help. Sunpoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call Sunpoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for California, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Grab the keys to a new Toyota. Let's go! And go apple picking. Go to a football game. Go ghost hunting. Or not. This fall, get a low lease on the sporty 2024 Corolla, adventure-ready RAV4 Hybrid, rugged Tacoma, and even the new all-hybrid 2025 Camry.
Grab the keys, come on, let's go.
Toyota, let's go places. Offer available to TFS buyers with premium rated credit until 11/4/24.
Despite having no experience, Gavin Newsom made Jessica Morse his, quote, wildfire specialist. The result? Under Newsom and Morse, insurance rates and utility bills skyrocketed. Millions of dollars were slashed from the state's fire prevention budget, and they were even caught lying about their record, while millions of acres burned and families lost their homes. Now Gavin has chosen Jessica Morse again, this time to run for Congress. We have a better choice. Kevin Kiley. As our congressman, Kevin Kiley has worked across party lines to secure millions for wildfire protection and expand water supplies. And Kevin Kiley's bill to protect Lake Tahoe will bring up to $415 million home to our district to reduce the threat of fires and restore the ecosystem of the lake, delivering results and making a difference. Let's keep Kevin Kiley working for us.
I'm Kevin Kiley. I approve this message. Paid for by Kevin Kiley for Congress.
2, 3, 4. Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. Basketball, give me the ball.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it.
Oh, if that doesn't get you ready for basketball, I don't know what will. Maybe this will.
Rare is it to have 5 men in double figures in the first half of a ball game. Here's a great steal. Malik Monk ahead to Keon Ellis. A full-blown two-hand throwdown. And the Kings have a 20-point lead as the defense has just been spectacular. And Doc Rivers has called another timeout. 2:44 to play in this second quarter. Boy, the Kings have brought fire to this one. Can they sustain?
Let's hope they can do that
Bump your booty out there, brother.
all season long. Get ready for the G-Man. Season 40 in Sacramento begins on Thursday. All right, so we just talked about the Eastern Conference and some expectations. Just a quick recap on that. Top heavy. I think it's very, very good. I think some of the league's worst teams are also in the bottom of the East, but that top is loaded. As far as the West goes, I think there's a lot more parity. I think from top to bottom, I mean, there's some teams I think that will have tougher years, but I think a lot of people believe Portland, Utah, maybe San Antonio won't quite be in the mix, but I think they will be a factor, and here's why. I think when you play teams like that 3-4 times, that could be a divider. Maybe someone has, like last year, remember the Kings had trouble with the Pelicans. That was well talked about. But that's the trouble with the Rockets, a team that didn't make the top 10. And they lost to them every time. So that had an impact in the Sacramento Kings schedule. So if a team has that, maybe a team gets swept by the Jazz or loses twice to the Jazz and everyone else beats up on them, or whatever the team may be. I think those projected bottom teams, and again, that's the projection, doesn't mean that'll be the case, but you could see that Utah's got some talent. Portland has some young talent, and the Spurs have added veterans in Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul to go with Victor Wembanyama. That I still think they're not quite there to make the jump from 22 wins to 40 is going to be a lot, but they should make a little bit of a jump. But those teams that were at the bottom last year, it's a difference of Portland getting 21 wins, Spurs 22, and then Memphis. That's the mystery team to me. They're at 27. So where do they go? Now people think, oh, Utah, they're not a very good team. They won 31. I mean, they weren't awful. They weren't great. Then you had the Rockets as the first team that missed last year. They were team 11, and they were 41-41. So that's what I'm talking about as far as the depth of the West. The top of the West ended up being 57 wins, and both Denver and OKC did that. OKC got the 1 seed, even though they had the same record as the Nuggets. Then it was Minnesota. Then there was a tier drop to that next tier of the Clippers, Mavs, Suns, Lakers, Pelicans, Kings, Warriors. And this year, I'm looking at several people's predictions, ranking the West, basically 1 through 15. And I looked about, let me see, 2, 3, 4. I got a bunch of tabs open here. So I had 3 different people have the Kings at 6. 1 has them at 7, and 3 more have them at 8. That's the high. Earlier, I'd seen someone pick the Kings 4th, but I think the seeding. My best prediction on the West is this for this year. I think the seeding is going to be a little bit of a deception, and what I mean by that is, okay, let's take, for example, last year. The Clippers were the 4 seed and the Dallas Mavericks are 5. Now, generally, those are pretty close in standings, right? You'd feel they were close. They were 51 wins to 50. The only difference it meant was the Clippers got a game 7 at home if they needed it. Dallas, as we know, beat them in that series and moved on. So the 5 seed made it to the conference finals. People were like, wow, 5 seed. Well, there wasn't that large of a gap between the 5 seed in the West, which was 50 wins compared to 57 as compared to what happened in the East. The 5 seed in the East was 47 wins compared to Boston's 64. The 17-game difference is a lot. So in this case, the West is going to be compacted. I don't think anybody's going to run away with it. I see most people picking OKC to finish as the 1 seed again. And I totally understand that logic. I like what they did in the offseason in getting Hartenstein. I didn't love his contract, but I like them getting him. Caruso made a lot of sense. I still think OKC should have made that move during the regular season last year to help them because they were having a great season kind of out of nowhere. And I think they kind of felt they could do it in the postseason with what they had. And I know they didn't want to mortgage a lot of their future, but I thought they could have made even maybe more of a bold move at the end of regular season last year to secure their strong season and give them the best chance to get out of the West. They didn't. That's fine. They still got a lot of assets, and they're in terrific position. One of the best positions they're in is they have the Clippers pick this year, and the Clippers pick is unprotected. So a lot of people are projecting with the injuries to Kawhi Leonard, losing Russell Westbrook, losing Paul George, and kind of the roster change, that the Clippers will be one of the playoff teams from a year ago that won't be in this year. If that's true, man, OKC could be working on another lottery pick, which is scary to think about where their future is. So OKC should be very, very good. They really should be. I don't have any issues with that. Denver finished in a tie for first. Denver is a little bit of a team of intrigue to me. As long as you have Jokic, you've got a shot, right? There's no doubt about that. They did a contract extension with Aaron Gordon yesterday. That makes sense to me. I really like their starting five, though it's changed. And I think the small moves sometimes don't get as much of attention, but losing out on KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I think will have an impact on their starting lineup. I bet they'll go with Christian Braun as their starter. They have Murray. They have Porter. They have Jokic and Gordon. That's great. That group is great. They've got to work on their depth a little bit to me. They did add Saric. I think that's a nice pick. They add Westbrook. We'll see what he can do. I'm just intrigued a little bit by Denver. They're well coached. I'm a huge fan of Michael Malone, but I don't know how well they'll do in the regular season. I know they'll be ready and sharp come postseason time because that team's been there, done that, and it may not matter to them as much of how they finish in the standings. So those two teams I'm looking at near the top based on what happened a year ago. A couple more teams out west of intrigue. I already mentioned Memphis. 2 years ago, they were the 2 seed. Last year, they missed based on injuries. They're a mystery team to me. I like Zach Edey. I like Ja Morant. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. I like how they won enough games, and they just have an identity to them that they're always tough. They're physical, and they'll play some guys. You're like, who are these guys? And they all work. They work together. That's a well-coached team. Memphis is tough. I'm impressed with them. Minnesota, they got the most that they could, I think, out of the Cat trade. It'll be different, but I think it gives a chance maybe for Gobert to be a little bit more primary in what he does best as far as a rim runner, put-back guy, and then certainly a great defender. Ant will just continue to develop. They had a good offseason, too, and I like getting Randall and DiVincenzo to their team, so I anticipate them being good. Dallas will be good, right? Luka is going to be phenomenal. Kyrie, they're a problem. They showed that. And a team to me that's similar to them this year of what Dallas did last year, because Dallas, the comp I have is at the trade deadline 2 seasons ago, they added Kyrie Irving and people flipped out. Couldn't believe it. They went from 5th to dropping out of the top 10. Then last year, they put it all together, added a few pieces, and boom, they really took off. I really like what Phoenix did. That's a team that underperformed last year and still finished 6th, but just didn't have enough games of Beal, Booker, and Durant. If those 3 guys stay healthy, adding Tyus Jones, another year of Grayson Allen, just the stuff they have overall on their roster, Royce O'Neal adding him last year, Nurkic, it's, Plumlee they added to. It's a good team. That's a team that I think could do a lot of damage this year. I'm probably higher on Phoenix than a lot of people that I've seen are. I think that's a good basketball team. As far as the Kings go, we're back to what we've all talked about, what we've known. Like in their Pacific division, can they be the best team in that division? I think so. I think they can, with the exception of Phoenix. That's the one I would worry about the most. I think if things go right, they could be better than the Lakers. I think if things go right, they could be better than the Warriors. Now, when I say better, more wins. It's not of substance. I don't think those 3 are all going to be relatively close. And the Clippers, I just think maybe it's too much change, and I don't quite understand everything they did there. New Orleans, I think, is under talked about too. I think New Orleans Phoenix and Memphis aren't getting enough attention amongst the West. More people are talking about Denver, Minnesota, and OKC, and Dallas. So the Kings are kind of in that group, and I haven't really even mentioned Houston, who got themselves to 500 last year with all the things that they had to deal with, too, of being kind of that young team, but added the veterans. And a lot of people talked about them before the season started, and they got to 500, and now they feel like they're being not talked about again. So the West has probably too many teams to focus in on one, or when they focus in on a couple, they certainly will miss out on a few teams. And so I think the West will be like the last 2 years, a dogfight every night. And the Kings are a case in point in that, where 2 years ago they win 46, and that was good for a 48. And then last year they win 46, and they are tied in that 9-10 spot. So for me, if I'm the Kings, I try to clean up those games that they just threw away last year and try to overcome and hide some of their roster flaws. They got to get better at free throw shooting. They're going to continue to work on defense. The three-point shooting has been really rough in the preseason. I'm not as worried about it, but it's got my attention. And if Fox, Monk, Murray, Sabonis, DeRozan stay healthy enough, I think it'll be a good year for your Sacramento Kings. I'm really, really looking forward to it, even with that discouraging preseason of poor performances really the last couple of games and an 0-5 preseason. All right. We got more basketball coming up in the next hour, but we'll start the next hour. It's Tuesday. It's 8 o'clock. We'll check in with our quarterback, Sean Salisbury. Plenty to discuss with him. He's scheduled to join us in the next hour. Also in the next hour, we'll look back at last night's 2 Monday night games. We've got 4 down territory, who's hot, who's not, and so much more in our next hour. And more basketball, more Kings, all coming up on Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for 3, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow. Sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The garage won't open again.
We're all out of coffee.
Life has enough surprises. Your car shouldn't be one of them. Stockton Honda keeps your car worry-free. From routine maintenance to that something's not right moment, our certified Honda experts know how to fix it right the first time.
Here you go, ma'am. You're all set.
Thank you.
Stockton Honda Service Department, keeping you ready for the road ahead.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Jeff Lynn's ELO.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
Live in concert in Sacramento. The Over and Out Tour. Jeff Lynn's ELO. The final tour. All the hits. Live at Golden One Center, October 23rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Tesla, keeping it real tour. Saturday, November 9th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Tesla, live. The multi-platinum rock band returns with special guest, Fuel. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Tesla, keep it in Rio Tour.
Welcome back to another exciting game day. Grab your rally towels, throw on your jerseys, cheer, shout, and save on your gas. That's right, sports fans win big on home game days. Score instant savings of 25 cents per gallon on Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline with the Fuel Rewards program. And that's a victory for you and your tailgate team. Download the app, join the Fuel Rewards program today, and game on. Restrictions apply. Limited time. At participating Shell stations. For more details, visit fuelrewards.com.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
All right, we begin the 8 o'clock hour here on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. No Carmichael Dave today or tomorrow. Back with us, though, on opening night of the NBA, or opening day for the Kings, I should say. Tonight, the league opens up, and still a couple of days away from the start of the Sacramento Kings season. Much anticipated, a lot of excitement, even after that rough preseason. But the 40th year of Kings basketball in Sacramento. And if you think about it, obviously we know it's long-time Kings fans. There's been more years of losing than winning, but there's some genuine optimism. And I think the Kings did have a good offseason. I felt good about, really happy that they kept Malik Monk, was stunned by the DeRozan addition, and excited, though, what this could be, what they can turn out to be. And then there's lots of storylines for the season. You know, development of current players. When will they be able to get Carter into the mix, the rookie that they drafted? Fox and that contract kind of lingering in the background as a storyline going throughout the year. And can this team get to the playoffs again? Can this team get to another round or advance? And, what would be interesting to find out is, with all that talent that we just talked about in the Western Conference, what are the team's expectations or goals, and what do they talk about? And I mean, I know when people gather around like the goals, we're here to win a championship, and maybe that is, and then maybe that's what they should, but what are they thinking internally? What's the true growth points that they want to get to? That's something we'll talk about today and certainly tomorrow as well. But it is Tuesday. It is 8 o'clock, beginning the 8 o'clock hour. We got to talk with our quarterback. We love talking with Sean Salisbury each and every week, and let's bring him in here on the show. Sean, it's Jason. How are you?
Jason, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad we always get a chance to talk to you. I was thinking about you when the Niners were playing the Chiefs this weekend. I said, I'm going to ask Sean about this because he's been under center. He's been in a huddle. You've had to look at a defense pre-snap, post-snap, and that. So the Niners just played Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs, and he may be the best defensive coordinator, if not one of them out there. When you got to, you broke huddle, you're going to the line of scrimmage, kind of take us through what you're looking at and what makes a great coordinator that honestly is there to trick you and trick your plays and goof on you guys. What do they do that's so successful that's hurt some of these quarterbacks?
I think there's a couple things. One is, as a coordinator, on both sides, defense, you're trying to create chaos and indecision, even when it's a simple protect. They just use an example. Last week here and in Houston, you watched the Texas Longhorn Georgia game. You saw the confusion up front that physical teams that are willing, and even when you're rushing 3 and 4, it felt to the offensive line like they were rushing 5. There was like 12 or 13 pressures on Stroud and 13 dropbacks. And the Texas game, everybody watched Georgia manhandle him physically. But a lot of times it wasn't 6 and 7 man or 5 man pressures. So you're trying to create confusion and you're trying to get your quarterback thinking it's one thing while you're doing another. That's one. Two is you obviously are looking for the weakness. That's the goal of everybody. On offense, our goal is to find the single guy if we can get man coverage and then make it look more difficult to you and more simple for us. But whether it's formations and emotions and personnel groupings, we're trying to put you in a position. We're trying to create our best guy on your third best guy, our running back on your linebacker in the pass game, our number one receiver motioning down to slot. And now we got the nickel covering him as opposed to your best cover guy. So you're just trying to create mismatches on both sides of the ball. And that's what it's for. Now, if I'm playing Spagnuolo, and he is the best defensive coordinator in the league right now, especially in big games. He's big game. I mean, he always has his best for big games. Is one, he calls his defense. He doesn't make the square peg in a round hole where, let's say he wants to pressure, that if he had a zone type team that wasn't used to pressuring, that he forces them in defensive situations that make them uncomfortable. They're not strength. He plays to their strengths. Now they're fortunate. They can play zone on the back end. They can blitz you. They can play pressure. They got a big guy. I believe you build defenses inside out. They got the most fierce inside outside guy who's versatile in the run game, pushes it back and can get pressures on the quarterback and Jones from the inside. You can't chip an inside defensive tackle. So you got to double him, which creates problems for the other guys on the outside to go put pressure on you and makes them better. So, for me in watching this game, confusion up front, but they gave Brock a lot of looks. But when you play Spagnuolo, at any team, I would always, if you're playing Flores in Minnesota right now, I'm one that always prepares for the major conflict. And then if they don't give you the pressure man or man coverage, and we as quarterbacks love man because it's a single matchup, but if they don't pressure you and they play zone, then you adjust to that. It's not the other way. Because it's too fast. If you're always thinking zone, and then all of a sudden you get a team that's going to blitz you 55% or 60% of the time or play man coverage all the time and you're thinking zone, it'll happen too fast. You got to think biggest conflict and adjust down, not the easiest way to approach it and adjust up. That's the hardest thing to do. And if Brock's not on time, and I love him, I think he's a wonderful player, but he's a guy that where there's a little bit of physical limitation. If he's not on time or he's hesitant, the ball's not going to be. If you're Brett Favre, you can be a little late or Elway and throw it, you're going to get it. Or Mahomes, he's got to be on time and precise and dynamic in his decisions. And the other thing, you mentioned pre-snap and post-snap. There's no doubt Spagnuolo's trying to get you think man, play zone. Think zone, play man. Think it's going to be a 4-week blitz, but they bring the strong safety off the strong side and drop back into zone. So he is very good at knowing and studying your weaknesses. And he found what was a weakness this week in Brock Purdy beating man coverage and with injuries and guys from Ayuk and Jennings being banged up and not having McCaffrey, the great equalizer out of the backfield to create that mismatch. Brock just couldn't overcome it. And it was as careless with the football as I've seen him be probably in the last couple of years.
And so you guys get so comfortable with your receivers, especially your primary, maybe your number 2, your number 3. So if Brock, and I think on time is the perfect way to describe him, Sean, because you're right. Like when he's on time, he's just got it. He can read, react, and get the ball on time and on target. But how much of a factor is it when Debo was ill and Ayuk got hurt and they didn't have Jennings? Now they got 4, 5, and 6. Those guys all have to play. No excuses. But did that affect the on-time part of what Brock's reading out there?
Sure it does. And he looked like Spagnuolo. So think about this. And Brady even had mentioned it on a broadcast with Spagnuolo, on that broadcast, right? It was Brady doing the game, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. On that broadcast he said he's been the bane of his existence, Spagnuolo. And back then, remember, they used to rush 4 with the Giants, get pressure with 4 and play however they wanted to on the back end. So Spag's been doing this in big games for a long time. If I were to say, let's compare it there. If I said Mahomes had no Kelsey, now even Kareem Hunt and Pacheco are down, and Xavier Worthy's down, and their right tackle or their left tackle's down, and Andy Reid's got the flu. Would it affect them? Sure it would. McCaffrey, Debo, Jennings, Ayuk, Yeah, it changes it. And it's not even the fact that you don't trust the fourth guy. It's, does the fourth guy get there like Ayuk would? Does the coverage now, they double Kittle if they're going to play in and out him, force somebody else to beat you? And so in your mind as a quarterback, you're thinking, oh, and I don't have McCaffrey either. Even though they run the ball well, they still run it well. But the McCaffrey threat in play action in the passing game makes you defend different and uses up your practice time during the week. Because Spagnuolo, I guarantee you, if he was in this game, he would have pressured, but he would have had to do things different, knowing McCaffrey and his ability to create mismatches out of the backfield would have been a problem. And that's a problem for everybody. So Spags is brilliant at it. So, yes, I love it when people say, oh, they lost 2 receivers. It's not that big a deal. Of course it is. Especially Brock has got to have, and he made the throw to Ayuk early that he dropped. When you're playing in games like this, those are the ones you just can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones you have to make. And I know it's tough, but when they hit you in the hands, because every yard against Spagnuolo or against the Flores, you're going to have to work for. It's like when a lineup in baseball has 8 guys deep, and you're like, gosh, the 8th hitter. I think about the Astros when they were playing their best baseball these last handful of years, or the Dodgers, or when they're loaded and your 8 hitter could be hitting in the 2-hole for somebody else.
Right.
It's like it's exhausting for a pitcher. A lot of times they get to the 7th hitter, they say, okay, 7, 8, 9, I'm going to work my way through this. But when you've got guys in the lower part of the lineup that are putting up MVP numbers, it's exhausting. It's the same thing here. Every single snap, you have got, where's it coming this time? So 65 plays of mental and emotional exhaustion, let alone the physical beatdown they give you. But Spags is excellent at finding your weakness, making you try to work somewhere else and not being able to stop that part. But he doesn't live with one play or one defense or one stunt. He is going to be exotic when he needs to and multiple. But even when he's simple, he makes it look complex to the offense. And Brock Purdy had a tough time getting it. But who wouldn't have when you got 4 of your best weapons not finishing a game?
Yeah.
Tough to do.
Talking with Sean Salisbury here. Sean, more QB talk. Why do you think Mike Tomlin went with Russell Wilson this week?
For the result you got. We from a distance, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. I trust from a distance, you say, why? 4-2. He's had a couple games, did Fields. He's more active with his feet. His feet are like what Russ's used to be, right? When he started with Seattle, Russ isn't as apt to use his legs to win games for him anymore. You're getting along in age. He's 35 years old. And I think a lot of people, and even on the pregame shows and stuff that, you see it, is everybody, why? Well, Tomlin's in the meeting rooms. Tomlin knows the pulse of his team, and he's right most of the time. So even I said, Russ Wilson's got to prove that he deserves the job back. I think they saw in decision-making, they're 4-2, and Fields, is not as precise a passer that you want. He's just not there yet. And will he ever be? Who knows? But he's a physically gifted kid. And then there's the mental part of being in the league a long time, where defenses, you're not going to get that confused. And Russ Wilson's been in the league long enough where he should understand what somebody's trying to do to him. So while most of us going in said, well, I'd like to see Fields at 4-2, it takes guts to bench a guy when you're 4-2. It just does. Even when they're playing okay, not great. Well, he did it, and the early start made it look like, bad decision. Well, probably part of the reason. Russ fought his way through it. Russ has got a long way to go to get back to Russ Wilson, but he did some decent things in Denver. And Pittsburgh's that's a football town. They don't want excuses and they don't want cheesy stuff. They want a quarterback who's like them. Blue collar, tough. When you're not playing well, find a way to win. And he gave it to him, and he fought back and looked like Russ Wilson in the past at times. So I think what it is that Coach Tomlin trusted that Russ Wilson could overcome what inevitably you're going to face. You're going to have to beat him throwing from the pocket at times. You're going to face adversity. And in order to win this game, we got to have a guy who's been in this plenty of times. That's why they brought him there. So he gave him an opportunity to prove it, and at least it earned him another week, and we'll see where he goes from here. But who knows if Fields would have been able to overcome that. And while we question the decision, it ended up being the right one. And that's why from a distance, we're not sitting in meeting rooms and know what goes on in the meeting rooms on the practice field. A lot of times you got to trust the coach, and it takes guts to bench somebody when you're 4-2, regardless of how they're playing, because of momentum. And there you go. Russ Wilson in a big game took care of his business to get that win.
Sean,
outplayed Aaron Rodgers. He did.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, there are better teams or better records, I should say, than what the Ravens have. But watching Henry run the way he is and the way Lamar is playing as good as any of the years he won the MVP, How dangerous are the Ravens?
They're the best team in football right now. I know the Chiefs, but you look at the Chiefs, they make a offense. Now, defensively, they're nasty, as we just discussed. But offensively, Kelsey started the season slow. Mahomes has got more picks than touchdown passes, but then he makes the sideline run. 3rd and 12 he'll complete it. They're getting the production at the right time. Kareem Hunt, coming back and now filling in for Pacheco as a guy who's been there before. And we thought, well, his career is on the downside and he's revitalized it. So, and you got Andy Reid. So, but that offensively, I can name 8 teams that I'd trust more offensively. It's just the quarterback knows how to make spectacular plays, and we haven't seen their best offensive performance. But that being said, as far as a complete team kicking game, defense, offensively running the football, Derrick Henry's the MVP in the league, not Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry's the MVP on that team right now. And think about his body. Instead of what he's had to get 35 carries to get the production, 15 carries for $167. So he's getting just as much production and not touching more because of Lamar's threat to run it through it. I think the Texans right now, the Ravens, probably Detroit in the NFC. You can make a case for 3 teams in the NFC, but Detroit, the way they play, I love Ben Johnson's approach. That's in the NFC. AFC, I don't think there's a better team. And I think right now, if the Super Bowl were next week and I had to bet $100,000 on one team and I couldn't spread it around, I would bet that the Baltimore Ravens are the team to beat, even though their record doesn't say it. If they played on a neutral field right now, I would take Baltimore to beat Kansas City, even though Lamar has struggled beating Mahomes.
All right, we'll get you out of here on this one, Sean. Last thing, if I asked you the same question, same kind of wager you had to make on college football, who are you putting that money on?
That's so ironic. We had that conversation this morning. I can't remember a time this late in the season I didn't feel there was a clear-cut 1 or 2 teams that were the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alabama in the past, Georgia, or Michigan last year. He said, listen, it's these 2, and then maybe there's a Florida State last year that can come in, or this year, is it Indiana? There's 10 teams. We went through the top 15. I'm like, well, damn. Well, this team can, because you think about Georgia's not going away. They showed they're big boys on defense and they're physical. Texas should be able to gather themselves and come back at it, but the SEC is different. And then you look at the Oregon. I mean, they're going to be tough. Ohio State won't go away. I mean, look at the Penn States hanging around. Indiana, I don't know, it's Indiana, Vanderbilt, Army, and Navy. I mean, but I'm not saying they're going to win the title, but I can take the 8th team right now and say, it's worth it. But if I had to, and Carson Beck's going to have to play better. The way Kirby Smart coaches and as physically nasty as they can be, even though offensively they don't look great, I'd probably put it on them. But I love the teams like Miami and Oregon who have playmaking, consistent quarterbacks that are physical but also have team speed. I'd probably say Georgia, but the truth is, right now, Oregon and Miami with their quarterbacks can probably put up as good a fight as any. But this is that year, the 9th team in the country right now can beat the 1 team, and I wouldn't know who to bet right now if it was just straight up. That's what this has created, because we do not have a great team. I'm talking about a great team. It's a clear-cut, no doubt, best team in the country. We don't have that this year.
It's going to make it fun. That's for sure.
Yes, it is. I love it. Yeah. I agree. When we got the military academies, Vanderbilt, Indiana, Iowa State, that are all in the Boise State, watching that kid run. Yeah, man, I love this part of it where there's really no villain right now, but there's a whole lot of teams that can get in there and win this thing.
Yeah, we appreciate your time as always, Sean. We look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great week.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. That's the great Sean Salisbury giving us some insight on quarterbacks and certainly on college football. He's so right. I mean, it is as wide open as ever. He also referenced that he said the MVP of that team right now is Derrick Henry. We'll look back on the night of NFL action. 2 games last night. Completely different types of games. We'll look back at those. Still 4-down territory. Much more Kings conversation coming up later in the show with our Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli, as we continue here on Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sacktown Sports.
Hey, coming up tonight, really cool opportunity right here on Sacktown Sports on our YouTube. 5 o'clock, we're going to have our voices of the station all in one spot talking about the upcoming season for the Sacramento Kings. Really looking forward to it with the Drive guys, Styles and Watkins. I'll be there as well. We've got Frankie and Brendan there. It's going to be fun. And you'll be able to see that on YouTube later today, 5 o'clock, Knights of the Roundtable, all together talking about the upcoming Sacramento Kings season. So really looking forward to that. All right. We just had a good conversation with Sean Salisbury. Anything you ever miss on any of our shows, that's why you go to sacktownsports.com, our YouTube page. You can find our podcast. You can go back and watch the shows, hear any of the audios, hear any of those clips, hear any of the full interviews, whatever it might be, the entirety of the shows. We appreciate you guys doing that. If you can get them live or whenever you want, on demand, basically. So make sure you check that out. But really good conversation with Sean. And I thought his points on Brock Purdy were right. I don't think Brock had his best game. I think there were reasons for it, partly Kansas City's defense. That's the funny part. We were talking about how good the Chiefs are. I really feel like they're more of a defensive team now than they are offense, and they still have Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes didn't throw a touchdown, threw a couple of picks, and they won that game in San Francisco. How does that happen? I mean, a team going on the road, the quarterback throws for less than 200 yards. They didn't have a 100-yard rusher, and you're playing in a pretty tough place to play against a good football team, and your best player didn't go off really, and they won. That shows you what Kansas City is able to do. Mahomes made the plays he needed to, but also that defense is really, really good. But Sean brought up the best football team out there right now is Baltimore, the way they're playing, and last night at times they looked unbeatable.
3rd down and 7 from the Bucs 13. Lamar wants to throw. Slings it. Complete. Henry at the 5. The King is in. 5 touchdown passes for Lamar. And with 6:32 left to play in Tampa, the hay's in the barn.
There you go. The hay is back in the barn there for Baltimore. They got the win. They looked good. Got a little bit closer at the end because Tampa kept going and made a couple plays, got that onside kick. But it really was a day dominated by Henry, dominated by Lamar Jackson, who continues to play at a high level, and that has not gone unnoticed by his head coach, John Harbaugh.
You know, I think we just keep it like we're just going to keep approaching every week, 1 week at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time, because that's what he's doing. You know, and he's doing it at a high level. You know, and I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. He's a great leader, and he's a great player. But we got a game next week against the Browns, and we got to bring our best, and that's what he's thinking about.
And, you know, I know early on this year, I think the first game of the year, there was a lot of talk when they played the Chiefs about how they gave more responsibility to Lamar. And he's doing more of the play calling on site, on, you know, looking and surveying the field, and they're giving him more autonomy. And watching that first game, I said, man, he's making some plays. He's making the right decisions, but I felt like he was running too much. And this is a gifted runner, but I felt like his first move was, let's get out of the pocket and let's just run. If I'm calling my own number, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the one to make plays. He got hit a lot that night. And since then, he's been better at that. I think he's run at the right time. He obviously has a lot of faith in Derrick Henry. They've got more weapons than they've had in the past as far as receivers go. They used to just rely on Mark Andrews, and he finally had a good game last night, but they've got other people they can throw the ball to. And Baltimore just look the part. They're always tough. They're never an easy team to defeat. And right now they've got that momentum, and they look like one of those teams. And looking back on that game yesterday, they pretty much controlled the game, won it with relative ease, and put up major numbers. I mean, 500 yards of offense. But the fact that Tampa just kind of stayed with it, got some scores late. I mean, Tampa scored, I think, 28 or 21 points 21 points in the fourth quarter to make it 41-31. But you put up 41 if you're the Ravens, and you could tell their coach was just disgusted that they gave the defensive coordinator, they gave up that last score. But look, this team is 5-2. They can win at home. They can win on the road. They've got experience. What they're chasing is the Chiefs, like a lot of teams. You know, they had their opportunities to beat the Chiefs last year. They hosted them. They didn't have to go through Arrowhead. They didn't get it done. And so they're going to try to do that again if they match up with the Chiefs or if someone knocks them out before they get to them. But the Ravens continue to show consistently that they are a team that's a problem every year. They're well coached. They do play physically. And teams could have had Derrick Henry, and they kept him, got him, and they're getting the results of that, the rewards of that, I should say. So he's been great. Also last night, the Cardinals and the Chargers played, and it was a field goal fest, basically. And that was the problem for the Chargers. They couldn't get touchdowns. They were just settling for field goals all night long, and they thought the last one that they got with, under 2 minutes to go would be enough. Well, the Cardinals marched down the field, got in field goal range, and eventually hit the walk-off field goal to win. Exciting of a game as the first one. But that's a look back at your Monday night games that, again, had the Ravens getting the win and the Cardinals getting the win. And that didn't help the 49ers that all those teams in the NFC got victories this week, except for San Francisco. All right, still to come, we got what's hot and what's not, or who's hot and who's not. We will look at our top 5 and bottom 5 from the NFL. No streaking today. We got to wait till Friday for that. And then 4 down territory, though, coming your way next. 4 different topics regarding the NFL. We've got that straight ahead here on Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
When it comes to fighting for families and protecting kids, no one works harder than our Assemblyman, Josh Hoover. A member of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, Hoover has worked across party lines and proposed tougher penalties for fentanyl crimes, stricter sentences for drug trafficking near schools, and RILA's law to make sure anyone who abuses a child is held accountable. A former school board member, Josh has fought to support school police officers, prohibit homeless encampments near schools, and increase funding for school facilities. Josh Hoover knows that families have been paying more for everything from gas and groceries to utilities and insurance. In the Assembly, Josh is working to provide relief to families, reduce the cost of housing, and stop Gavin Newsom from raising gas prices even more next year. Josh Hoover is making a difference for our families, our community, and our future. Our voice, our Assemblyman, Josh Hoover.
Paid for by Hoover for Assembly 2024.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Shop Big O Tires now through November 3rd and fall into savings with up to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required. Disposal fees extra. Not valid with other offers. See Big O dealer for details.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Don't miss Stoney's Rockin' Radio's Halloween bashes this weekend. That's right, Stoney has Halloween costume contests each night, including Sexiest, Scariest, and Best, and a superhero/villain contest this Sunday night. Winners get a dash for cash on the dance floor, free late night food, country dancing, and Halloween fun all weekend long. I'll see you on the dance floor.
DC here for Folsom Lake Kia, where they make car shopping easy with a huge selection of new Kia models, low payments, and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted dealer in Folsom for over 25 years. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
Okay, this can't be true. I just saw this story, Chris. Based on what you were saying earlier, I know you will mock this. Where's the story coming from? There's surprising betting interest right now is on Los Angeles Lakers rookie Bronny James to win Rookie of the Year. Why? I mean, the only reason to do that is the odds are really low. FanDuel is offering plus 250 odds on Bronny's first NBA basket to come off an assist from LeBron. Okay, but that's not. What are we looking at as Rookie of the Year? Why would people even remotely bet on that? Let me see.
I mean,
odds
most likely he's going to be in the G League for a bunch, right?
Yeah, let's see. James odds to win the award range from 250 to 1 to as long as 1,000 to 1. It should be worse than that. To win Rookie of the Year?
I mean, that's plus 10,000.
1,000
I mean,
to
like,
1?
I don't think he's not winning it.
He's
I can
not. He's
safely say that he won't. So it really doesn't matter if it's plus 10,000 or plus 50,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's one. Like, if you have something like those kind of odds, I'm like, okay, I'll put $2 down, right? Something like just absurd where you're not like going to lose.
Well, have you seen the odds of where Anthony Edwards will play in the NFL?
No. Where he'll play or if he'll play?
Odds for Anthony Edwards' next NFL team per Bovada official.
Okay.
Best odds?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Vikings.
Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, okay, because he's from Georgia. Went to
plus
Georgia.
1,600.
Okay.
The worst odds, the Denver Broncos plus 100,000.
Why do they get
I don't know.
Somebody had to be, right? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not betting on that for Bronny James. Just no chance. Let's see the favorites for the odds of let's see. Defensive Player of the Year, Victor Wembanyama. Understandable. Also, most improved, Victor Wembanyama, which is weird. He had a great year last year.
Yeah, it's going to be scary. Like, obviously he's going to improve, but if he can put everything together,
Yeah. Rookie of the Year, Zach Edey, and MVP, Luka Doncic.
Oh man, I'm out of cash.
I feel like
they want him to be the MVP so badly.
They sure do. He's great. He should be. I would think he'll be in consideration. But it just feels like the league or bettors or Vegas or something. Just they want him to be. The
I
MVP.
don't like the hype that he's been given since the beginning because like he really can't. It is going to be insanely hard to match. And my biggest thing is like if you just comp him with Dirk Nowitzki, Mavs all-time great, won an MVP, won a championship, Hall of Famer. That the way they've been talking about Doncic, if he does that, then he was. It was a loss. It wasn't. He didn't match up to the
Dirk.
hype.
Yeah, it's like he's done great. Just leave him alone. But forcing the, I mean, yeah, the league tries so hard. I say the league, but people that kind of like just want different names out there.
Well, there was like a time where it's like you almost knew who was going to be the MVP coming into the season. Like there is when Westbrook did the average a triple double and got it, and everyone's like, "Oh, if he does that, then he'll win the MVP," and he did do it. Then Harden, it was like, "Oh, this is his this year," and then Giannis, "Oh, this is his this year." Right. It almost felt like an Oscar, like.
Yeah. Well, and the Jokic did a couple times. It could have been Embiid. Now it's like, okay, and then Embiid got it. Now it's like, I feel like SGA, probably Victor soon, Luka. There's so many great players that don't win the MVP. They can't all get MVPs. And, you know, is Boston going to have another 60-plus win season and not have the league MVP?
And it's funny how everyone twists like what it means to be an MVP.
Right. Oh, their team's too good. How do you make Tatum the MVP over Brown?
Oh, Steph Curry got it because he's the best team on the best. He's the best player on the best team.
Right, but not this year. It doesn't work that way.
Westbrook, he averaged a triple double. Yeah. Oh, he did it again. No, that's not the same thing.
Right. It's got to be a big guy. Big guys are the most important in the league. No, it's got to be a point guard because they make everybody better. It's like, what are we doing? What is the criteria? And I think honestly, that's the question. There isn't an answer. I think everybody has a little bit of a different opinion on what the league MVP means and what it should be. I think you kind of start in the general. Obviously, you have to win a lot. You have to have great stats. And I think the value of if you were gone, that's kind of how I do it. What would the team be like? Kind of measuring all three. All right, more NBA coming up, though, at the top of the hour. Frankie Cardicelli. He will be joining us.
Go, Frankie.
Who is that?
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, okay.
Your favorite movie, Major League 2.
He was the Kings Insider. Frankie will join us at 9:00. But let's do it, Chris. Let's do
also. He's also joining us.
Oh yeah, you know what? I did tell everybody if you missed it, 5:00 today, an opportunity to have all the station's voices together. We're all going to be together. The Drive Guy, Styles and Watkins, myself, Frankie, Brendan, all talking about the upcoming Sacramento Kings season. That's going to be at 5:00. You're going to be able to see it on YouTube. The Knights of the Round Table.
Knights of the Round Table.
Wow. That's coming up at 5:00 today. It's called the Knights of the Round Table.
What's it called?
The Knights of the Round Table.
Knights of the Round Table.
We actually got Sia to voice that for us.
Yes, very nice. Very, very nice. Let's do 4 Down Territory.
Derrick Henry leads the NFL in rushing. Is he the biggest miss by teams in the NFL offseason?
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty not so subtle jab last night during the broadcast when I think Troy Aikman started by saying, man, Derrick Henry was a guy that was coveted by teams and, you know, Baltimore's the one that got him. And then there's a pause, and Joe Buck's like, oh, is there any teams that you can think of that would have wanted him? I know his hometown is in Dallas or whatever. And it's like, yeah, the Cowboys were looking at him, but then Jerry Jones famously said we couldn't afford him. Man, Derrick Henry looks great.
If you think about it, Titans were fine last year.
Yeah.
Just seeing how garbage they are now.
I know.
That's how good he is.
And it's like, we don't need him anymore. Yeah, you do. He's still just a massive specimen. And I think I told you that, and Dave, when I was in Vegas this summer for the Summer League. And, you know, you always see NBA people. You see you're just used to that. You see all these guys around, and it's really relaxed. It's a comfortable atmosphere. Then I was in the casino, the hotel casino. I'm like, wait, that's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry just walked by, and he is – look, you see the NBA players that are so tall, but he is so put together. You're like, good gosh, could you imagine trying to tackle him?
And it is a little scary. When you see, like, a running back in real life, it's like this guy is an NFL player?
Right.
Like
Well,
they're small and squat and
Right.
they're obviously athletes, but it's like they're tiny.
yeah. And then Henry comes through and you're like, he is massive. And he runs big and runs tall. And it's like, I'm a cornerback. I'm 5'10", 185, and I got to try to tackle him. Man. Yeah, I think a lot of teams missed out on Derrick Henry. Baltimore's the benefactor, and he's having a great start. All right, second down.
The Raiders signed a quarterback yesterday as they agreed to terms with Desmond Ridder. What are the chances he takes some snaps for the Silver and Black?
I almost say 100%. I mean, it should be. They got the injury to Aiden O'Connell. Gardner Minshew has not shown that he deserves to be the sole starter, and this is the guy you can't, play without. I don't think Ritter's going to be amazing, but I think the Raiders got to try everything at this point. So, yeah, you signed him. You signed him to bring him in. You're curious. You're not happy with your quarterback position, and you got an injury. There's an area of need. I say there's a great chance that he ultimately takes some snaps, if not starts a game at some point. All right, third down.
Which 49er receiver will have to step up the most with Ayuk's injury?
Well, the logical answer is there's not one. It's everybody, right? And as much as I want to say, Pearsall or Jennings, I still think you got to go to your top level guys. And to me, that's Kittle and or Debo. Those guys, I think when all is equal, I think the guy that would get the most targets, if everybody's healthy, would likely be Ayuk or maybe McCaffrey. But Ayuk is out, McCaffrey is out. So there's opportunities here. Jennings will play better. I think Pearsall will be good. Cowing, all those guys will elevate their game. But you got to know that you can count on people like those difficult yards, those difficult catches, high leverage, critical possessions, 3rd and 9s, well-defended plays. I think a lot of people can run routes, catch balls when they're open. But that's not what it's about. It's about when you're going to get hit, when you are being grabbed, when maybe there's a hold and no one sees it. I think that's Kittle and that's Debo to me. Those two guys have to come through and lift up their play even more. They've been great, but they got to be even better with the absence of Ayuk. All right, let's get to the fourth and final down.
The NFL is always filled with surprises. Which game so far this season has stunned you the most?
Well, I'm going to go back and give you some love, Raider fans. Watching the Ravens last night in multiple weeks, explain to me how the Raiders beat them in Baltimore in week 2. Raiders played well. They deserved to win. It was nice that they had Devontae Adams back then. I know he had a touchdown over 100 yards. I want to say 8 or 9 catches. But that game with the Ravens up 10 in the fourth quarter, the hay should have been in the barn, as they say in Baltimore. And there are upsets. There are oddities every year in the NFL. But that one right now stands out to me the most. It was week 2. And the Raiders went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. The Ravens are 5-2 now. The Raiders are now 2-5. Doesn't make a lot of sense, that game to me. The Raiders have beaten the Browns, and they've beaten the Ravens. And the Ravens have just lost to the Chiefs in the opener, and then the Raiders. They're 0-2. Now they've won 5 in a row. They look great. They found a groove. But in a year that always has some oddities, some weird games, that one, I would say, stands out to me the most. All right, that's 4 down territory. Still to come at the top of the hour, Sacktown Sports Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli will join us. But up next, who's hot, who's not, and our top 5, bottom 5 from the NFL after another week of action. That is next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Toyota's legendary truck event is on.
'Cause we're gonna be legends.
Hurry in for $2,000 cash back on any 2024 Tundra, or choose a great lease on a new 2024 Tacoma 4x4. Get to your Toyota dealer today because this truck event will be Toyota. Let's go places. Offer available to TFS to buyers with premium rated credit until 11/4/24.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton & Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat. Bring out all the flavors of the upcoming holidays with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. Napoleon grills that features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last, complete with a lifetime warranty. All made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Just because it's October does not mean we can't barbecue outside. Visit California Backyard now for your best selection of grills and Napoleon Grills accessories.
Jeff Lynn's ELO.
Mr. Blue Sky, tell us why.
Live in concert in Sacramento. The Over and Out Tour. Jeff Lynn's ELO, the final tour, all the hits. Live at Golden One Center, October 23rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
All right, Chris, who is hot?
Jared Goff.
Tell me why.
In the Lions' last 4 games, they have scored more touchdowns, 18, than Goff has had in completion, 15. How about those Lions?
How about those Lions? Where will they be? If they'll be in my top 5, bottom 5, we'll find out. Yeah, he's amazing. He's been a nice, he's reinvented his career from the Rams, though he went to a Super Bowl there, to what he's done in Detroit. He was kind of forgotten about, I felt. Now he's enjoying the success there. It's really been a nice part of his career. All right, so if he's hot, who's not?
The LA Chargers. Justin Herbert threw for 349 yards and had a passer rating of 97.1 yesterday, but they became the first team in NFL history to have those type of numbers from their quarterback. Failed to score an offensive touchdown and lose the game, 17-15 to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I talked about Herbert, I think, last year when I said, I felt like he was one of those guys that was getting more hype than he should. Now, I think he's got all the physical tools. He looks the part, but at some point you need to get to the playoffs and win some playoff games before you get put into that tier of QBs. And to me, I thought they were moving him up too fast. I said, look, Herbert's good. There's talent there, but what has he done when it's mattered the most? And so I'm not the guy that you got to win a Super Bowl to be thought of as a great quarterback. No, but you need to get to those meaningful games. You need to have playoff appearances. I don't think less of Lamar Jackson because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's been great. He's gotten his team to the playoffs. Josh Allen, the same. Now, they'll be put in a different level if and when they win a Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers is one of the greats of all time. He got there once and won it, or he won a Super Bowl once. But there's other guys that won multiples that you think of differently, right? That's why Mahomes goes up there so high. That's why Montana and other people, Brady, obviously, that's the separator, is getting all the way to the Super Bowl and winning those consistently makes you great. So that's who's hot, who's not. And we can't go streaking, but I will let everybody know where we are still, at least, because our last report, Dave is at 2, and he can't pick Ohtani or Betts for when game 1 of the World Series happens on Monday. Chris, you're at 2. You're good. You're in the clear because you took Iglesias and Lindor for your 2-game hitting streak. So you got a clean slate. You could take any Yankee or Dodger. And I'm at 4. I have used Torres from the Yankees, Nimmo, who's now out, Judge, and Soto. So I got some work to do. I got some Dodgers available, but
gross.
Well said. Well said. All right, let me give you my top 5, bottom 5 from the NFL after yet another week of National Football League action. I mean, Chris, can you believe it? 7 weeks?
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's just
how quickly it's gone by.
First off, it was like this, you get through the preseason and then it's okay, the season opener, and then it's like week 2 and week 3 and 4. I mean,
now it's fall.
It's fall, and we're coming up on Halloween, and it's almost Thanksgiving. My gosh, week 7, already done it. So 7 weeks of action are gone. We'll work from the bottom to the top. The bottom 5 teams, according to me, my list. You can have your list. You can play along at home. The 5 worst teams in the NFL. At number 28, the 5th worst team, the New York Football Giants, not the Jets, the Giants. Giants I have as the 5th worst team. Just consistently. It's still amazing to me, what was it, 2 years ago that Brian Daboll got that team to the playoffs? I don't know how he did that, but it's slim pickings. They're 28 overall for me. 29th, they kind of knew they were going through a transformation, so they knew this might happen, but the Titans down near the bottom, though they play competitively, I would say, in a lot of weeks, but they have them as the 4th worst team. The 3rd worst team, boy, it's really fallen apart for them. They made the playoffs last year. They were kind of one of the darlings of a year ago. But the Browns, man, Browns have had their struggles. They continue to have their struggles, and I have them as the 3rd worst team at 30th overall. At 31, the 2nd worst team. They were once 1-0, and they spoiled many a survivor pool by beating the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. The New England Patriots. They've lost at home. They've lost on the road. They've lost in London. They've lost everywhere. They've lost 6 straight. They are 1-6. I have them as the 31st or the 4th or the 2nd worst team in the league. And dead last in 32nd, they did beat the Raiders, but that's it. The Carolina Panthers. Their point differential is bad. Their record is bad. Their roster's not great. And here we find them at 1-6. So that's the bottom 5. Now let's go to the fun stuff. The top 5. This was a little bit difficult this week because I had gone with and maintained the Minnesota Vikings as the number 1 team in the NFL. Maybe you didn't think so, but they were undefeated at the time. They had a pretty good win resume. The teams they had knocked off, it was impressive. But now they finally lost. So do they stay in the top 5? Where do they land? Let's go. Let's find out. Number 5, I believe for the first time I have them in the top 5. The Green Bay Packers. Out of that crazy talented NFC North. They're now 5-2, a really good win against the Houston Texan team that had lived in the top 5 for a couple times. But I've got the Packers there at number 5. At number 4, Sean Salisbury told us earlier in the show they were the best team in the NFL. I don't have them there yet, but they are very, very good. The Baltimore Ravens, winners of 5 in a row after an 0-2 start. They're rolling right now. Henry, Lamar Jackson, the defense, special teams all the way through. Baltimore, Lands at number 4 for me. At number 3, they've dropped from number 1, the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I still have them up there. Look, they had a tough loss. It was close. They could have won the game. Detroit got them. But Minnesota is doing some great things, and I've got them there at number 3. I mentioned Detroit getting them. There they are at number 2. So you've got the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions at 5, 3, and 2 in my top 5 rankings, all from the NFC North. And at number 1, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs and the NFL's lone undefeated team at 6-0, the Kansas City Chiefs. Impressive. Impressive what they've done. Impressive that they've kind of transformed into a more defensive-oriented team for the most part, but just enough offense, and we'll see if that can get better as the season goes on. So there you go. There's our top 5, bottom 5 after another week of the National Football League. Final hour ahead. We got Crosstalk with Styles and Watkins. We got celebrity birthdays with him. What to watch, but when we come back, the NBA opens up tonight. The Kings are 2 days away from starting. We'll talk Kings with our Sacktown Sports Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli, as he's going to join us. And he'll do that when we come back to start the 9 o'clock hour next on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Advanced Infusion Center, where we prioritize your comfort and well-being. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or seeking specialized IV therapy, our state-of-the-art center offers tailored solutions to meet your needs. Advanced Infusion Center's dedicated healthcare professionals are here to ensure your safety and provide personalized care. Conveniently located in Sacramento and Yuba City with flexible scheduling options. Experience a new standard in infusion therapy. Visit Advanced Infusion Center today at advancedinfusion.com.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
O'Reilly! Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts in West Sacramento and Town Center Plaza next to Nugget Markets now through October 29th for the Customer Appreciation Day sale. You'll get 2 times O rewards points on select purchases. Plus, pick up 5 quarts of any Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 gift card after rebate. And buy one, get one free Coca-Cola products at your Town Center Plaza, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports.
See Frankie? Oh, he's ready too. Woo!
Beautiful time of the year, Jason. Beautiful time of the year.
Yes, it is. It is 9:00. Normally we have Niners at 9, but it's NBA opening night. Kings open in 2 days. We have our Sacktown Sports Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
So is it Costco guys this year? I mean, I haven't gotten. I get a nickname every season or every half a season. Are we going with the Costco guys because they're Italian and from New York? Or
I'm calling you Frankie.
Well, thanks, Jason. You're the only
I have
one
always
station...
called you Frankie. I don't have any other nickname. Maybe Frankie the Yankee is what I call you.
You know what? I apologize. Apparently, he's not going to bring the boom today. So.
Oh. Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Jason. I think you're the only person at the station that calls me by my name. So that's actually
nice.
Nice.
Are we doing 30 minutes on the Yankees or do we have to talk Kings?
I would love to. I was on a podcast with our pal Matt George and with Chris Watkins yesterday, and a good portion of it was them kind of just grilling me for my Yankee fandom, which I'm sure you get on a regular basis as well. But hey, man, I mean, 15 years is a long time, so I'm going to relish in it a little bit. I know that you are too.
Absolutely. And how do you feel as a Yankee fan? I don't really care if others are rooting for other. I feel like though people hate the Dodgers and hate the Yankees, right? You like the Yankees, I like the Yankees, so we're obviously rooting for them. But you have a lot of America that wants both teams to lose. Yeah,
it's an interesting take, and it's kind of. I mean, again, we're coming at it from a biased perspective, but I think this is kind of what you want, even, from a Kings perspective. I mean, a lot of us have watched the NBA. Well, a lot of us have watched the NBA playoffs for the last, before 2022, 2023. Kings fans had to watch the playoffs without the Kings in it for, almost 20 years. And I think at that point I was at the perspective where I want to watch the best 2 teams go at it. And we saw that with the Cavs and Warriors go at it. Now, at a certain point that got kind of worn down, and especially with the addition of Kevin Durant and kind of seeing the Warriors take the clear upper hand. But this hasn't happened in over 40 years, where the Yankees and Dodgers specifically, but last year was kind of a one-off as far as the Rangers and the D-backs, the small market kind of teams, which is cool to see, don't get me wrong, but how the world works and how viewership happens and how those things take place. And we're going to see some real records broken, I think, as far as World Series viewership, and you have the best 2 players in the league going at it. So aside from my Yankee fandom, which of course, and 2 Yankee fans talking here on a Northern California radio station, I'm sure people are saying shut up, but I'm excited to see the best 2 teams go at it and the 2 best talents in baseball go at it. It's good for the game.
Yeah, I think the NBA comp too. You brought up the Warriors and Cavs having like 4 years in a row, but I also go back to the one that's happened the most in the history of the league was Lakers Celtics, and when we got it again, It was good. Now, Kings fans didn't want to see the Lakers win, and maybe they didn't care about the Celtics either. But just sports fans and basketball fans, when they met a couple times again past the 80s and just, a few years back, those were good finals. And so I hope we just have a really good World Series. And obviously I want the Yankees to be holding the trophy, but I think we got a shot at that. And I think that's what's going to make it great for baseball.
Yeah, I share the same sentiment, Jason. And it's kind of just like, it's hard to predict. One team has no starting pitching. The Dodgers are really kind of on fumes in that end, but the best offense in baseball, they're leading the postseason in runs per game right now, 6.5 per game. The Yankees pitching and bullpen's really held up really well. So it's a crapshoot, but like I said, it's good for the game of baseball, which is most important. If you're a baseball fan and you think this is a bad thing, I think you should reevaluate. I think this is good for the game of baseball and just kind of growing how those that kind of are on the fence or haven't wanted to view baseball or become fans before, maybe they'll change their mind after watching this.
All right. One last thing on this, because we do have you on to talk Kings. What's your perfect script of how this World Series would end for you?
My perfect script would be a 4-0 sweep, because the stress of the ALCS was completely just horrible. It's so fun to watch those games.
4-1.
When it's not your when it's not your team in it, it's fun, but it's really, we were texting on the side, but I think we're a perfect script just for, I think this thing going 6 or 7 games would be just great for the game and fans of baseball. And, selfishly, I'd love to see the Yankees come out on top in 6. That's my prediction right now. That's where I'm at. But seeing Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, just those two marquee names, kind of show up on the big stage. Ohtani obviously has been a guy who's been really delivering as of late. Judge has been infamously not as effective in the postseason as he is in the regular season. Well, he has a couple of games to change that script and change that narrative. But I really am just hoping to see a good competitive series, and one that if the Yankees don't win it, is competitive on that end as well. But again, it's as someone that's a baseball fan and there doesn't have too many, big baseball friends around me, I just want to make sure it just brings more attention to the sport. You see them talk about it on, the first takes and the ESPNs and those kinds of shows, seeing that kind of come to the forefront. Whereas a year ago, I don't think that really was a conversation with the D-backs and Rangers, but hoping to see the Yankees in 6, Jason.
Yeah, if I could write one, I'm always for more games. I know that's more stressful. If it went 7, that'd be awesome. But being that it would be in LA, so I think if I'm writing the script, Frankie, and hopefully you'd accept this one, a walk-off by Judge in Game 5 to end it.
To end the World Series, that would be honestly the legacy. Talk about legacy. Put them in Monument Park right away.
There you go. Well, the Kings have a legacy they're trying to build on this year. The 39 previous years, there hasn't been enough winning. We all know that. But Frankie, there's genuine excitement. And I'm going to ask you how you feel about the year coming in, because generally I would say I'm more of an optimistic fan. I could see the positives. There's certainly some negatives, some roster flaws, but I was really excited going into this season. And generally the preseason doesn't dampen that much, but it kind of did for me a little bit. I'm not down on the team, but I was so high in what I thought they could be, and I did not love the way they played in the preseason. Now that's all going to be forgotten, I hope, by Thursday. But did any of that preseason bother you, dampen any of your feeling on what you think this Kings team can be?
You never want to see a team go 0-5 in anything, even if the games don't technically matter. But there was something that really stuck out to me as far as a massive concern. The 3-point shooting to me, 22% over the course of the entire preseason. That doesn't seem like that's going to be something that holds true in the regular season for a Kings team that's really made a living top 5 and made 3-pointers the past 2 seasons. But I do think, kind of looking at it from Mike Brown's perspective, you don't want to peel back the curtain too much. You don't want to show opponents too much of what you have. And that's something that Mike kind of alluded to while talking to the media last week. So am I concerned about the preseason? No, you never want to see a team go 0-5, but this team has so much talent, just so much talent. I think that it's going to be, I don't want to say easy, but it's going to be fluid once they get on the court and kind of start letting things roll here. But when you look at De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, and down the line, Malik Monk, you have guys like Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles who haven't played a second of preseason. They have the depth to make things happen, but you have to get healthy first and foremost. And the Kings didn't get off to a strong start in training camp in that regard. But you saw it in those first kind of opening minutes of preseason with Golden State in Sacramento, DeMar DeRozan going 6 for 6. Will he come out and do the same thing on Thursday night? I'm not sure. But the point is, seeing this offense with Mike Brown kind of going full tilt, saying, all right, let's roll out what we have here, our schemes, see what these guys really have in the set offense. I'm excited to see it. But No, I don't think the preseason you shouldn't hold too much weight in preseason because they're not trying to showcase what they have, especially to opponents like the Clippers and the Warriors twice, who they have in their own division.
Of the concerns you do have then going into the year, where would they, you talked about that a little bit about, the 3-point shooting not being great in the preseason, but that's not phasing you at this point. What when you look at the roster, the way it's constructed and just the way you think, what will be some of the trouble spots for the Kings this year?
I mean, we always look to the length, and right now they are entering the season with, I think, Trey Lyles. After trading McDaniels, they have Trey Lyles, Doug McDermott, not really a very strong front line behind Keegan Murray and DeMar DeRozan. And granted, I was talking with Matt and those guys the other day about how last year Harrison Barnes, was he the lockdown defender? Was he the Kings' most impactful defender? I wouldn't say so, but he's a big body. I think he was 6'8", 240, 235, a guy that can kind of go against those. We're going to see Julius Randle on Thursday night, or the Zion Williamsons. Is Keegan Murray ready to match up against those sizable forwards? That's something I'm going to kind of look for, early. Is Mike Brown going to call on Trey Lyles early on in situations where the defense is being exposed? Could we see potentially a Domantas Sabonis, Alex Len lineup at some point? I mean, Orlando Robinson's a guy I think that we could see play a little bit. He's athletic and he has some length, but is that going to be something that Mike Brown wants to do? Roll with a two big lineup? It just kind of, the concern is always the Kings could use more length and more defensive versatility. I know I've heard Dave talk about that a lot on this show, and he's very concerned about it. But I think the Kings are kind of just doing what they've been doing the past couple of years, which is kind of trying to overemphasize or add more to a strength, which is their offense. And having DeMar go ahead, Jason.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was adding DeMar DeRozan, a 24-point scorer, per game scorer, and one of the best scores that the game has seen in a very long time. Adding that instead of an impact defender, I think it's just kind of Monty McNair in the front office trusting that this offense is going to be where they were in 2022, 23, which is hopefully outscoring every opponent, scoring 120 plus points a night, and good things happen when that takes place. But the defense is going to be a concern as always.
Yeah, I think there's lots of different ways to build a team. I mean, we look at Indiana got through basically last year because they were so spectacular offensively. I think at the end, to really be champs, you got to be a better defense, better than average for sure. And the Kings are working on that. Let's talk about that end of the floor, Frankie. I think one of my beliefs is just the continuity of having so many of the same players back. I think it's bound to help you a little bit in the communication, in the reps, and the things you've been through. But where do you think they can be as a defense for the totality of the year?
I mean, it's all going to depend on your backcourt. I mean, De'Aaron Fox and Keon Ellis, that's a good duo to have. De'Aaron Fox leading the NBA in steals and steals per game last year. Keon Ellis has kind of shown he can be that. You see a lot of competitive teams or teams that are in the mix every year in the finals or going to the playoff, deep in the playoffs. They have that guy who can kind of be a stopgap on defense. And Keon Ellis is someone that kind of fits that mold. Chris Watkins and I were talking about the Matisse Thybulle fascination the Kings had for years, where they were always kind of knocking on the door of Philadelphia and even Portland, kind of see if he was available. Keon Ellis is somebody that I think can provide that defensive intensity, whether it's deflecting passes or on-ball defense, but he can also knock down the three ball. So you're not just getting a guy that's going to be, a total negative on the offensive end, but having De'Aaron Fox and Keon Ellis kind of be the head of the snake and to kind of stop, those offenses from getting into the paint. That's going to be huge because we know Domantas Sabonis is not a bona fide shot blocker. I think he's somebody that gets a lot of flack for his defense and someone that I think was better last year than the year prior, but still not someone that you can go and trust to be a true rim protector. So I'm looking at how the guards are going to hold down the fort this year. And, Keegan Murray kind of factors into that as well. He can defend positions 1 through 4. This is his third NBA season. He has some experience guarding some of the best players in the league. We saw how he did against Stephen Curry last year. It wouldn't surprise me to see him open up Thursday on Anthony Edwards. That's pretty nice to have for someone that can guard, multiple positions. But, I think the guard spots are in a good spot, but, keeping things contained in, at the top of the key and before you get into the paint's where we could have some trouble.
What's the latest? You mentioned, we obviously didn't see Lyles or Herder coming back from the long form injury, the surgery and all that. And Lyles getting, hurt in the offseason right before camp started. What is the status of those guys?
Yeah, we're going to head out to practice today around 12:30, and we should hopefully get an update on those guys. It's been a while since we've seen them in action at practice and whatnot. I think they had a Halloween party over the weekend, which looked pretty fun. Doug McDermott dressing up as Kevin Huerter. But the last week we heard, Kevin Huerter was cleared for full court activities and is participating in practice. He coming back from a pretty serious injury, the torn labrum and dislocated shoulder, something that also rookie guard Devin Carter is rehabbing. But Huerter's mentioned that his shoulder's still not all the way where it was before of a strength. You wonder if that'll factor into the decision to play him opening night. But I do think that the fact that he's participating in practices and has had a full week to kind of get those under his belt could bode well for him. Trey Lyles also was ramping up. There was some guys, some friends of ours in media that were out there saying that he was going through some on-court, pretty intense workouts last week. We'll get out there and see if, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is that enough to get you ready and get the reps you need to be prepared for the season opener. But having those two guys on the bench or out of action was another reason why I'm not looking at the preseason too heavily, especially when you kind of factor in Jordan McLaughlin, the Kings backup point guard, also was out. There was the first two preseason games, the Kings had no bench. They had none of their guys that are going to be in the second unit come opening night. So having McLaughlin back, having Kevin Huerter or Trey Lyles in the fold, that could be big for them. But we'll get an update today, hopefully, and stay tuned. Check out sacktownsports.com, obviously, or my colleague Brendan Nunez and my accounts on Twitter, and should have an update for you guys hopefully around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
The decision for the starting two guard is made easier for Mike Brown. We know he obviously has had an affinity for leaving Malik on the bench, or putting him on the bench and bringing him off the bench, I should say. And so it kind of was going to be a Huerter, to me, Frankie, versus Keon Ellis conversation, but Huerter wasn't cleared for so late. And Keon's played well. Like he's shown that he could be a consistent, low volume 3-point shooter efficiently there and a good defender. If all things were right this offseason, everybody was healthy, how do you think that plays out? Same way or different?
It's Mike Brown to me. And, I think if you ask anyone that covers the team or even watches the team and listens to what Mike says and kind of decipher, I think that Mike Brown really does like that idea of having Kevin Huerter in that starting lineup. And I think Keon Ellis will be the starter come Thursday. That could be because, Mike wants to see how it works with having Keon in that starting group. And more so, I think because Kevin's is not really ready to kind of take on that full workload. But I think the signing of Doug McDermott kind of makes it repetitive, having two, action heavy spot up or, dribble handoff shooters and Doug McDermott and Kevin Huerter, who both kind of fit the similar mold there as far as a guy that Domantas Sabonis really has experience with both of them. Doug McDermott played with Sabonis in Indiana. Kevin Huerter mentioned how Doug McDermott, told him when he came to Sacramento, when Kevin Huerter came to Sacramento, how much he was going to love playing with Sabonis and in those kinds of offenses. But I think having Kevin Huerter in that starting five, sliding Keon Ellis back into a bench role at that point, kind of makes a little more sense to me from a defensive perspective, because now you have Malik Monk, you have Keon Ellis, you have Doug McDermott, you have Trey Lyles, Alex Len. That to me kind of solidifies the bench a little bit more than going Monk, Huerter, Lyles, McDermott. It's very offense heavy, not as much defense, but at the same time, Keon Ellis was really working for the Kings in a starting role. And I do think that he's earned that right to open the season as a starting two guard. I think that the 3-and-D aspect he brings could make him still a more impactful player than Kevin Huerter, because we did see time and time again last year. And it's not all Kevin Huerter's fault, but teams would seek him on switches often. And that's something that he was working on with the coaching staff, with Doug Christie, something that I'm sure he's working on in the offseason, having him not be such a target for opposing defenses where guys are having to switch and miss their rotations. But I think that having Keon in that starting role kind of does add another element of versatility to a lineup that, like we mentioned, doesn't have too many defensive, stalwarts. I mean, De'Aaron Fox led the league in steals. Keegan Murray, like we said, defensive 1 through 4, but these aren't guys that are all defensive first or second team players. These are guys that are holding their own at their positions. And Keon Ellis is someone that maybe possesses the best defensive potential out of those three.
Why, in your mind, Frankie, and it's not like it's broken, it's not a bad choice, I would say, but why do you think Coach Brown's so adverse to starting Monk?
People, it's an interesting conversation, because Brendan and I alone have been putting out, here the Kings are probably going to start Keon, and people are screaming for Malik Monk to start. And, it depends on how you view it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you finish, conversation. And I think Mike Brown is someone who truly cares more about who's on the floor at the end of games. And I know that the Kings have started off poorly, and having Malik Monk out there next to De'Aaron Fox, That to me is their most effective backcourt. You want to have that for a majority of the game, but at the same time, you have to have balance, and you can't have that significant of a drop off going from a Fox Monk backcourt to Jordan McLaughlin and Kevin Huerter. I mean, that's, and sure, you can stagger them and have them come on at different times, but I do think a large reason why the Kings have been so successful for the past 2 seasons is because of Malik Monk, and because you do have De'Aaron Fox, who's a volume scorer and a playmaker. You get to go right from De'Aaron Fox into Malik Monk. And then at the end of games, you have those players playing off each other who, they've been doing it since Kentucky, obviously. That's a huge, advantage for the Kings. And not many teams in the NBA have that, a guy that's a go-to scorer and a go-to option for the offense. So I know that when Malik signed, he was pretty vocal about if he thinks that a change needs to happen, he'll speak up. And I think to that point, he means he gets that this formula, the way that this Kings team is constructed, it's best for him to come off the bench right now. But if the Kings are struggling in November, December, January, if they've lost 4 or 5, they're hovering around the plan, he might speak up and say, hey, like, this isn't working anymore. We probably should switch things up. And to his credit, at that point, I would agree. If the Kings are in a position where they're not winning basketball games and they're fully healthy, I think you need to look at, what things need to change. And that's one thing that Mike Brown kind of had. Maybe it's called an ace up his sleeve, call it something that, may or may never happen. But I think it's a luxury to have a player like Malik Monk off the bench, and Mike Brown always will point to, he's coached in San Antonio, he's coaching in Golden State, Manny Ginobili, one of the greatest 6 men of all time, and Andre Iguodala, who is, an integral piece of that Warriors dynasty. He mentions those two players a lot when he talks about Malik Monk. And the Kings have a long way to go before they become the San Antonio Spurs or Golden State Warriors, but those are the kind of players that you need in those positions to be a successful team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the conversation of I really don't care who starts. It's kind of who's on the floor more and who's on the floor in crunch time. But I guess my only beef I would have with this is I think last year Malik was 5th in minutes on the team, and he had a career year. He was awesome. And so to me, Barnes shouldn't have played more minutes. You could debate whether Keegan should, but I think when you start, you generally just get more minutes. It just kind of happens that way because you start, you come out, you at least come back in another time in that half. Whereas a bench player, a lot of times you come in and you kind of get the one run, and he's great in the one run. He gets 2 a half, but it's you always get 2.5 seemingly as a starter. And so if there's just a way that minute total can creep up, he doesn't have to start for me. I just think that total, he's too good of a player, too impactful to not be on the floor in probably the top 5 in minutes on this team.
Yeah, I agree. And Mike, I think HB was kind of just, his vet, his guy, someone that he, really liked to put out there because of his people can grow him, but the veteran leadership and what he brought, it really was maybe not valued to everybody outside of the team, but, in the locker room and internally, that was valued very highly. And like I mentioned, having his size out there is also, I think, a reason why Mike Brown would go there, because there really wasn't anyone else on the roster that could match that. But to your point, Jason, Malik Monk, I don't want to see any more 20, 21, 22 minute type of box scores here. Like, he needs to play near 30 minutes a game. And I think that this year, or maybe one of the, him re-signing with the Kings, I think would mean that's probably more likely than not going to happen, especially if Keon Ellis is a starter. And we'll see what happens with Kevin Huerter if he does end up getting back in the mix for the starting lineup. If he ends up being a backup 3, which probably is the spot he's going to be in, or him and Doug McDermott maybe playing positionless basketball 2-3. But Malik Monk, if the Kings are going to be truly successful, needs to play big minutes and needs to play next to his college buddy De'Aaron Fox in crunch time.
Well, we got an opener coming up 2 nights from tonight. T-Wolves will play tonight, so we can do a little scouting to see how Julius Randle and DiVincenzo look on their new team. But, Frankie, it's still Gobert, Ant-Man, Conley, a team that's gotten better defensively every season. McDaniels is a really good perimeter defender. Kings played him well last year too, but Naz Reid, Joe Ingles, you just go down the list. This is a team that was threatening for the 1 seed last year. That's a pretty tough opener come Thursday night.
Tough opener, but I know they're in Sacramento, where Minnesota's had the Kings number a little bit, but the fact that the Kings last year walked in the Target Center and took 2 games from Minnesota, I don't think anybody else in the league did that. It kind of shows the Kings last year matched up pretty well with them. And I think, Jaden McDaniels said after a game that, they would handle the Kings in a series, but I think it would have been an intriguing matchup if it would have happened. Now, different look this year. Rudy Gobert is going to be playing next to Julius Randle. Dante DiVincenzo, Kings legend, mind you. He is now going to be playing for Minnesota after hitting over 253s last year. He really kind of expanded his game with New York. It'll be intriguing to see how they match up tonight in LA. And I think, like you said, the Kings will have the advantage of being able to get a true scouting report on them. It won't be the first time that this team has been in action. But Anthony Edwards is really the player for me to watch. He is just torn apart the Kings. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think last year I wrote in a preview that I think he had been averaging nearly or over 30 points per game over his last 6 matchups against the Kings at that point. And that was the game he had to leave at halftime because he had the birth of his daughter. Pretty cool. They chronicled that in Starting 5 on Netflix, which is pretty fun to watch. But he's a Kings killer. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm intrigued to see who Mike Brown will roll out there as a defensive assignment on Thursday. I think Keegan Murray, to me, seems like the ideal person to put on him at the beginning, and he has experience defending him. But at the same time, Keon Ellis did a great job down the final stretch of the season last year. He guarded Stephen Curry in the play-in game. Someone who the Kings, I think, will lean on more for a lot of defensive assignments. But, Domantas Sabonis in the post, I think, has really fared well against Rudy Gobert in his career so far, and last year, especially in Minnesota. So it's a matchup that kind of has a high-powered offense against a very high-powered defense, and the best defense in the league last year. So a strong test from day one, whereas overall the Kings' opening schedule, it really isn't as, and it's on paper. These are games. You don't know what's going to happen until they're played, but from a strength of schedule standpoint, the opening week and a half, not as brutal as it was in recent years, but opening the year with a 1-0 record against a team that maybe will take the 1 seed in the West, I think that's going to be pretty important to get off on the right note. But the most important thing is it's at home. You always feel good about the Kings at home on their home floor with a packed house, and from everything I'm gathering, it's going to be a fun atmosphere on Thursday night in Sacramento.
Oh, for sure. And I know tonight, we told everybody about this earlier in the show, Knights of the Round Table. We're going to have that tonight. Knights of the Round Table.
Knights of the Round Table.
We're going to have that tonight where all of our hosts, I'll be out there with Styles and Watkins, the Drive guys, you, Brennan, we're all going to be there on YouTube starting at 5 o'clock. That'll be fun to be talking Kings collectively and see what we all come up with tonight.
It'll be a lot of fun to get everybody in one room. That's never happened before. I mean, we've all been here for a while. Never happened. Probably a little chaotic. I'm sure a lot of, friendly insults will be thrown my way, whether I'm on or off camera, whether it's pizza guy or now I'm getting the Costco thing. Yeah, Jason, we always stick together. It's because of this right here. It's because of this NY. That's why we stick together.
We bring the bone. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back, guys. Really excited to be back.
Well, Frankie, it's going to be great to have you back. You and Brendan doing your great work all along. You guys never really went away because the King season just doesn't stop. But I know you guys are glad the games are here, practices are here, the stuff to really talk about. We look forward to talking to you each and every week as well back here on the show. Thank you. Have fun with the season, and we'll see you later tonight.
Yeah, see you guys later tonight, and go Yanks, Jason.
Go Yankees.
We bring the bone. That's what we do.
Just never stops. All right, that's Frankie Cardicelli joining us, our Sacktown Sports Kings insider. When we come back, we've got more to get to, including what to watch, and there's already people sitting out in the NBA. We'll tell you what that story is next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
I didn't expect to, but I need to get a new health insurance plan. The good news is I found Health Markets. Health Markets lays out plans available to you. They have access to more than 200 carriers across the country, And if you need help, you can just speak with a licensed insurance agent.
For real personalized service, call Health Markets at 855-680-8222 to speak to a licensed insurance agent. That's 855-680-8222. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency nationwide except in Massachusetts. Paid actor portrayal.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
The Bonneville International Radio Station Contest are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Hey, Marvel movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Playing this week, Venom, The Last Dance, the IMAX experience. Everything will end. The best theater to experience Venom's action-packed finale is the Esquire IMAX, with its 6-story screen and heart-pounding audio.
There comes a time in every man's life where you have to make a sacrifice.
Be the first to see Venom, The Last Dance. Grab your great seats today at IMAX.com/Sacramento.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, made for California, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Don't miss Stoney's Rockin' Radio's Halloween bashes this weekend. That's right, Stoney has Halloween costume contests each night, including Sexiest, Scariest, and Best, and a superhero/villain contest this Sunday night. Winners get a dash for cash on the dance floor, free late night food, country dancing, and Halloween fun all weekend long. I'll see you on the dance floor.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
AB is calling this the Carmichael Jason Show with David Ross featuring Christopher Laud. Christopher Laud. Okay.
So idiot things can turn into good decisions.
Thanks, Jerry. We bring the boom. See, you play these clips, and then I just walk around all day and say them.
Frankie does not like that.
He didn't, did he? I kind of like it, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's perfect for you guys. We need to get you guys doing the dance.
Can you play it?
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
That'll do numbers, you and Frankie.
Yes. We want more hits. We want more recognition, more thumbs up, more people checking us out on our platforms. All it takes is Frankie and I in a Yankee onesie doing the We Bring the Boom dance. My goodness. Thanks again to Frankie Cardicelli for joining us. Coming up in a few minutes.
You going to see him later tonight?
Frankie?
Yeah.
Well, I would if... Oh, wait, I will, come to think of it, because I was thinking, what was I going to do today? And then I said, oh, yeah, I'm going to have a blast. But then secondly, it was, I'm going to see him later because I'm going to be here back at the studios at 5 o'clock for Knights of the Round Table.
Knights of the Round Table.
And where all the shows are getting together, the Drive Guys, Styles of Watkins, I'll be here, Frankie, and Brendan.
Wait, Frankie's going to be here?
Yeah.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
Ah.
And he's going to be at the
Knights of the Round Table?
Oh, man, that's just... it froze.
These have got to be ready to go.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Got me feeling icy.
Wait. I wasn't ready for that one. Almost spit up. So we hope you're here the rest of the day with us on Sacktown Sports and certainly on our YouTube. That'll be at 5 o'clock on our YouTube. You'll be able to check that out. Talking Kings. Talking about the Kings. That's what we do. I was saying when we went to break that the NBA opens up tonight. We got 2 games. We got, and that's what to watch tonight. While we're talking about that, the Knicks and Celtics getting their championship rings, unveiling the banner, all that fun stuff that comes with winning a title that someday we hope will happen here in Sacramento. T-Wolves at Lakers, and that will be tonight. The rest of the league, most of the rest of the league starts tomorrow. Chris, you said you wanted like championships to kind of end when you win the championship and you're done. You don't really take it over into the next year, but how great would it be to be at the ring ceremony for the Kings?
If the Kings were to win a championship, there would be a party until the ring ceremony.
Pretty much from June to October, huh?
Yes.
Would we I mean, maybe some already say we are. I don't care because we're them. We are who people would be talking about. Would we be annoying fans?
I want Warriors fans to say, okay, we might have been a little bit annoying.
But you guys are awful.
But the Kings are worse than that.
Is the beam cute to anyone else besides us?
Oh, no, people like it. We've been outside of Sacramento, and
people say it, but I'm like, I've also, other teams are like, I don't want that damn beam to be, like people have poked fun at it or not liked it, but we love it.
I think you're also not considering the fans that don't like the teams that the Kings are playing that love seeing the beam.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm all for the beam. We want a lot of beam lightings this year. But I mentioned going to break that with the NBA season starting, we already have some high-profile players that are going to miss the opener. Tomorrow's season opener, the Bucks and the Sixers. Well, Paul George has been hurt, and he has been ruled out. Joel Embiid is out as well. I think the NBA has done a good job of that, of making the awards where you have to play, 65 games. They're really trying to limit people sitting out. And this is legit, I believe, certainly for Paul George. I'm not saying Joel Embiid wouldn't want to play in the opener, but that for a long season and I do feel for games. I did have a friend that got my Kings tickets for Kings and Grizzlies maybe 2 years ago. It wasn't the year that Jaw was, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. and brought his son. Son's a huge Ja Morant fan. And when they got there, I said, I'm sorry, but Ja's not playing tonight. And those things happen. That's a risk, but that was just kind of a random he's not playing tonight thing, as opposed to he was really injured or anything like that. So I don't like those things. I don't know how you protected it even any more than the league does. That's not my suggestion here. But the fact that they're already out, the fact that, like the Clippers are going to be without Kawhi Leonard for a while. Injuries happen. We just talked about it earlier in the show, too, with Brandon Ayuk. That's a reality. The 49ers are going to be out without him for the rest of the season. But when you get high-profile guys in such a sport, too, that, it's so recognizable, these stars, you can see them so cleanly. There's no helmets on or face masks. These guys, when they walk around, you would recognize them in different parts of the community if you saw them. And, you want to see the Kings play, but sometimes you want to see these opposing stars come in and play. That's part of the draw of having professional sports in our town. It's, who Joel Embiid is and Paul George and LeBron James and Steph Curry. And yeah, you're rooting for your team, but it's like, man, I appreciate what these superstars can do. And I kind of want to watch and see if the Kings do a great job on them or if those guys live up to their legendary names and back up their performances. So unfortunately for the Sixers tomorrow, when they take on the Bucks, they're going to be without Joel Embiid and Paul George. All right, we will break here. When we come back, we will have Crosstalk. Styles and Watkins will be coming in here. We will have a celebrity birthdays coming your way. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about what we're doing today, the Knights of the Round Table.
Knights of the Round Table.
And we'll see if they think if Frankie and I should bring the boom at all.
Boom! That's what we do.
All right. We've got Crosstalk coming your way next on Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at the AEWay.com for an instant quote. That's the AEWay.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Jeff Lynn's ELO.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
Live in concert in Sacramento. The Over and Out Tour. Jeff Lynn's ELO. The final tour. All the hits. Live at Golden One Center, October 23rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Welcome back to another exciting game day. Grab your rally towels, throw on your jerseys, cheer, shout, and save on your gas. That's right, sports fans win big on home game days. Score instant savings of 25 cents per gallon on Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline with the Fuel Rewards program. And that's a victory for you and your tailgate team. Download the app, join the Fuel Rewards program today, and game on. Restrictions apply. Limited time. At participating Shell stations. For more details, visit fuelrewards.com.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell that Styles and Watkins are fired up for today. Yeah. Do you guys bring the boom?
It's what we do.
Yeah.
We bring the boom. That's what we do.
I had a chicken bake this weekend.
Did you have a cookie too?
And a double chocolate chip cookie.
The best of Costco.
Oh yeah, and it was a good one too. Nice and underdone.
So good.
Good batch.
I whipped out
so
some. I went full Dave. I whipped out some ice cream.
Nice.
It was like 12 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Nice little pizookie.
Yeah, it was a 12 o'clock pizookie while watching the NFL. I mean, what more do you need?
That's actually a perfect Sunday, really.
You know,
It is.
Literally.
Double Sunday.
Unintended.
Yeah.
Sunday on a Sunday.
It was which one was it? It was one of the ice creams, a sweet cream with the cookie dough.
Okay.
And the middle was just caramel.
On top of a what kind of cookie?
I would take a cut the cookie
chip.
with the spoon.
Chocolate chip. Got it.
I would take some ice cream and then break the cookie with the spoon and then
Okay. Oh, so you just okay.
the whole
Gotcha.
thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is
And
a
a
good
chicken.
Sunday.
Oh, actually, real quick, and then I'll give it back
The
to you.
chicken bake.
I have really. This is I've come up with some good kind of additions before to food. Here it is, chicken bake. Next time you get the chicken bake, take some pesto, mix it with some ranch, dip that bad boy. Thank me later.
Yeah, there's no way that's bad.
It's good.
There's already enough
I like all of
cream
those
in there.
things.
But
I had it. Sometimes they're dry.
So
Yeah.
idiot things can turn into good decisions.
So next time, pesto on the chicken bake, and then a pizookie.
And then a bazooki. Yes. On a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Yeah.
How's your stomach feel about that?
Yeah, I'm still
He doesn't
getting
eat
back.
sense.
Yeah, no, I'm still getting back to reality here.
What's coming up today, guys, on the show?
Man, it might be just me if Alan ate
I'm
that
actually
yesterday.
kind of gurgling a little bit.
Yeah. Game time decision. Are you like Paul George and Joel Embiid? You're already out.
I'm
Yes,
already out.
yeah.
We have Tony Harvey, Sacramento
Nice,
right,
Observer,
yep.
that is at 12.
12, yeah.
And we are getting everybody ready for the NBA. But we do want to, beginning the show, we will be tying a bow really on the Niners and all this week activities as far as the NFL is concerned. Chris Godwin, should he have been
Yikes.
playing or not? Yeah, we're breaking all that down.
That was. Did you see the play when it happened live?
Not live.
Yeah, I
You did.
Yeah.
I didn't know I knew he was hurt.
Yeah, I
And then
didn't
when
either.
they kind of paused, they're like, "Oh, we've just been told by the truck,
Yeah.
we're not going to show that again." I'm like, "Oh,
That's when I replayed it. Yeah.
oh, you did replay it?
Yeah, I replayed it, and it's.
You don't see it, or do you?
You don't see anything happen. You just kind of see one of his legs is definitely twisted up.
Okay.
But that's. I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, I guess it was his ankle that dislocated,
Mm-hmm.
but you can see that something is not right. But it's nothing too.
Yeah, he's kind of on his
too
arms,
graphic,
and
yeah.
it's like, okay, well, something's up.
I thought he
but
got a concussion at first because he was just kind of like in a ball a
Yeah.
little bit, and then.
I did not rewind it. Well, like when they say that, I'm like, I'm not the one that goes back to
No,
those
usually
things.
I'm not.
No, me neither. And it's always very, and Chris has always been on this with how severe injuries look versus what they actually mean. And I'm just so confused. I thought Zay Flowers was done.
Yeah.
I mean, he got rolled up on, and then
Yeah.
he's back in the game.
Yeah,
So I can't keep up. And then the Mike Evans situation was that his hamstring. He just left.
Yeah.
I think he just pulled his hamstring. So I was busy watching. Well, I thought that game was over. So because it was stupid ESPN Plus,
Very stupid.
I wanted to watch Cardinals Chargers for
Thriller.
whatever
I mean,
bizarre
it was a
reason.
thriller, I guess, but-
And yeah, so I switched over, so I missed it. How are you going to be ESPN and make people go to the app, but then they don't give you the splits? They don't give you a split screen option.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and they have ESPN,
It doesn't.
ESPN2. They have ABC. Like I go, oh, one of these games is on. Wait, no, they're all the Ravens,
Right.
Bucks, which was a good game, but
Yeah.
kind of.
And I even watched. I was down so bad last night. I even watched the Manning cast, and I can't stand the Manning cast.
Really?
It's just enough. It's oversaturation of the Mannings.
I think they're good.
It wasn't bad. It was Joe Flacco. And then
It was okay because of Joe Flacco,
I'm
not
just
the Mannings. Didn't Eli's dog do something? Interrupt.
I didn't watch that
He
long.
got sacked, and the dog ran up there. It was whatever.
It's
That part
enough.
was a bit much.
It's enough.
That's enough.
Enough.
All right.
America loves it.
But
It's-
you know what's not enough is
What?
enough of all of us.
Ooh.
You
Yeah.
guys ready for the Knights of the Round Table
Knights
tonight?
of the round table.
What is that? Billy?
It
Billy.
sounds like Lord.
See ya.
There you go.
Still haven't seen a face.
See
It's
ya.
like
Well,
seeing it,
Carter.
you can't see it.
Well, I think there's going to have to be an MVP of this thing, and there's going to have to be a non-MVP. So you got to choose who you want to be.
Well, I just know. Are you guys going to bring the boom?
That's what we do. Again,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
I'm just setting them up. I just want to keep hearing that clip. But yeah, that's going to be later today, 5 o'clock. All the
Yeah.
shows together.
Yeah,
Talking
I know.
Kings.
It's gonna get
Talking
spicy.
Kings.
It's gonna get spicy. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
You're gonna come in
I
raging?
did a couple shows with Drapes last summer or 2 summers ago, maybe, and he really doesn't like what I have to say. So I think I really think it's gonna get spicy in there.
All right. Well, we'll see if my
Can't wait.
my
Yeah.
take of 77 and 5. Flies.
Wow.
That's
Like Colonel
New Orleans.
Sanders?
That's we're getting spicy.
Yeah, spicy or anything New Orleans. Yeah.
Crumble cookies will be there.
Crumble
That's right.
Cookies
Oh
will
my
be there, and they're here right now to tell us about celebrity birthdays meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies. So, are you gonna bring ice cream tonight?
I
Go with
probably
the Crumble
shouldn't.
Cookies.
I probably shouldn't, but I will.
Okay.
I'm just eating it at the table.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Alan, what'd you think about this?
Give me. Where's our? Yeah.
Pretty good.
Can you imagine the calorie count if you had a Pizookie with the crumble cookie? You might just die.
But what
Of
a way
happiness.
to go! What a way to
Like,
go!
you know?
How did he go? Well,
This is the height of luxury.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
honestly.
right.
happy birthday on this October 22nd, guys. Let's start with Shaggy.
It wasn't
Shaggy.
me.
It wasn't.
He did have a good run.
I'm starting to think it was him.
Yeah.
It was
Did
always
he have a
him.
good run or a song?
He had,
No, he had
He had a
that,
sound.
and he had
song.
Angel.
Oh yeah. Show
And
me
then,
your
so
money.
what do we call? There's one hit wonders. What if you have two?
A run.
A run.
You
That's
know?
right.
Yeah.
The run from the Kings.
Yes.
Shaggy. Oof. Is he 50 on the nose? I feel like he's got to be older than the 40s, man.
Yeah, he has to be 53.
I was gonna say 52.
Nice.
Chris Watkins is closest. 56.
Wow.
Oh,
Shaggy.
was him a
How
long time.
about
I paid
let's,
my taxes.
let's stick musically. 21 Savage.
Ah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4,
21?
in my bank account. I think he's a
You know
little
where
bit
he's from, don't you?
London.
You sound like you're from London.
just outside of Sacramento.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I don't think he's 30 yet, but he's close.
Is he 21?
No idea.
I think he's 27.
That's a good guess. I'll say 29.
28.
Chris Watkins is closest, 32.
Whoa.
21 Savage.
Come on, grow up.
Happy birthday to Jeff Goldblum.
Now that guy likes apartments.com.
Yes, he does. That's what you know him from.
That is actually
He's got
true.
a different name on that too. It's not even Jeff Goldblum. He's a character name, whatever it is.
Right.
It's like,
And that bothers me.
yeah, you could be Jeff Goldblum. We know who you are. But he's like, Hank Smith or whatever his name is.
I hate that on shows.
Life finds a way.
Is he 67?
64.
No.
69.
Nice.
Watkins, your streak is over. The closest is Christopher Law at 72.
Wow. I've been cold for
Jurassic Park was a long time ago.
Happy birthday to
ice cream you ate.
Christopher Lloyd.
Doc.
And yesterday was Back to the Future Day.
Doc
did
from
not
Back to the
mention it.
Future.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. I could tell.
He was the villain in
Taxi. He was in villain in what?
In Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
Why don't you lead us off there?
He is 77.
I'm finally going to get one here because he's 80.
Get it? 80 on
I would
the nose.
say 85.
Chris Watkins is closest, 86.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's not going to be around much longer.
It's not you, Marty. It's your kids. Happy birthday to former Raider coach Hugh Jackson and Browns coach.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Browns.
Browns, yeah.
He always seemed to
Jackman?
put a foot in his mouth.
Yes.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
Huh.
Now that's a football guy. Oh, he is 60 on the nose.
57.
54.
Alan's closest, 59. All right, we're going to go individually. Alan, Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens. Oh, at this point, oh man, 48.
On the nose.
Yeah.
Got it. Chris Watkins. Ichiro.
47.
51.
Oh, my God.
51. Chris Verlaud. Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder is 34.
39.
To this day.
To this day.
And
To this
Robinson
day.
Cano, happy 42nd birthday.
Oh, now that's my guy.
That's your guy. All right. Styles and Watkins. They bring the boom. Next.
The quest for ring number 6 happens here on Sacktown Sports 1140.